You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson, Sports Center, brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, home of smoke-free slots and the highest payout percentage in the area. Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, more spins, more wins, more fun. The Brewers back in Milwaukee for an exhibition last night against the Cincinnati Reds. Brewers win it 9-1, as you heard it right here on Madison's home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. Brewers back in action for their final warm-up of the preseason this afternoon at American Family Field. 4:10 first pitch against those same Cincinnati Reds. We'll join that game in progress following Jim, Matt, and Molly this afternoon here on Madison's home of the Milwaukee Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. Opening day, Thursday, 1:10 first pitch for the Brewers and the White Sox. Jacob Mizorowski gets the start on the mound for Milwaukee. NBA, the Bucks fall last night as their West Coast road trip continues, this time 129-96 against the Los Angeles Clippers. Cam Thomas cut yesterday by the Bucks after just being signed a couple of weeks ago by the team. Bucks West Coast road trip continues Wednesday night visiting the Portland Trail Blazers. Tip time at 9 o'clock. Wilde and Tausch with Bryan Bulaga in for Tausch next.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com. Three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde.
There aren't any Jasons 12 and under. That's a dead name.
Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher.
How many kids do you hear, hey, Marky, it might be as almost to the point of Ruth?
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio.
You love that name so much, you don't even go by it.
On 100.5 ESPN.
If you call me Mark, I'm fine. I like my name. I like my name a lot.
It's Wilde and Tausch, isn't it?
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
The 18-game NFL schedule edition. Can't wait to get our cousin sub of the day, cousin subs We Believe in Better's take on that. But he's going to have some takes on some other stuff first. Edition. The celebration of Bob Harland's life yesterday at Lambeau Field. I was honored to be there. A few stories were told. Mike McCarthy avoided breaking any major Aaron Rodgers news, but it was a great time, and I think Bob Harland would have enjoyed what he saw. Not the celebration of him, but all the old friends that he'd known for so long that did so much for that organization, in large part because they were working for him. Edition. And we get it out of the way right away. Somebody's got some basketball to discuss with one Jesse J. Nelson edition of Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course everything you need on the amazing, incredible, stupendous, easy to use, easy to modify. So you can put Wilde and Tausch in the first slot so you can always find us as soon as you open the app in the ESPN Wisconsin app, which you can find both in the Apple and Android app stores. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios, ready to take his medicine like a man.
You're a traitor.
And joining us from his undisclosed location in the Sunshine State, he used to be our famous friend, and then we decided to switch to royalty-free music. The pride of Iowa. He is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. He is Bryan Bulaga. Bryan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. I'm great. Beautiful morning down here in Florida. And how sweet it is to be in the Sweet 16. I know Jesse, just like bowl games, hasn't had a taste of those in a while either. So for the basketball program to be in the Sweet 16, Iowa's football program to be winning lots of games, especially against Wisconsin, winning bowl games, and Wisconsin just simply being irrelevant in the Big Ten and the major sports, it's very sweet. It's a sweet day. And I believe the last time I was on, it was Wednesday, and Jesse told me that Iowa was going to get stomped out by Clemson. I believe that was the last interaction that we had. On air, that is, of course, on air.
So a little worried it might be the last interaction, period, after the way things went.
And then I'm going to recount the whole event, that I wished Wisconsin well against D3 High Point. Assumed that was going to be an easy win for Wisconsin to play the D3 school of High Point. And then the tables just turned. They just turned, and they turned in a really sour way for Wisconsin fans. And yeah, I mean, I guess I'll ask. I mean, Jesse's not an alumni. You technically are.
Let me just clarify something. So first of all, if Fran McCaffrey were still the coach at Iowa, I couldn't stand him. I would not be wearing the sweatshirt. I am wearing this not because I am a traitor, but because I am Team Bulaga on this saga. Because Jesse Nelson, Bradley alumnus, was talking some major trash in your direction. It has become like your love language between the two of you is to say crappy things about the others. I can't even say alma mater because Jesse's a Badgers fan and you attended Iowa. But I thought Jesse was out of line.
Yeah.
And when the tables turned, I said, I'm supporting my man Bulaga today because I got to get after Jesse with him.
Yeah, it was Jesse definitely started an unprovoked attack. I mean, I went into conversation last week. I was like, I'm supporting Wisconsin. I like Wisconsin in the tournament. I normally always pick them to at least get out of the first round in my brackets. And Jesse went right on the attack against Iowa for no reason, right? I mean, I didn't say Iowa was going to crush Clemson, and I didn't say any of that.
You did not.
I was excited that they were in the tournament, and, we'll see what happens. But Jesse went on the offensive immediately. And obviously they dominate the Clemson game. I mean, they ran Clemson into the ground. And then, by all means, if you watched the Florida game, and you actually watched the Florida game, they dominated Florida essentially that whole game. And obviously Florida's a great team. They came back, obviously, as we all saw. But at the end, the better team won. And I guess – because I'll ask Evan this too when he comes on. But I guess I'll ask Jesse this now too. Where do you see Wisconsin sports programs? Where are they at right now? Like what you have teams now like Nebraska and Iowa getting to the Sweet 16 in sports that they normally don't. I don't know. Compete in that. I mean, obviously, they get into the tournament. Iowa does, but they normally don't go this well. And Wisconsin's normally a traditionally very strong basketball school. So the state of the program of athletics, just in general for Wisconsin, where is it right now? I mean, it's dark over there. It's very dark. Rival schools are catching them and passing them. Football, they've been passed for the last 5 years now, essentially. And now basketball, schools like Iowa and Nebraska. I mean, look at all the Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16. Normally it's a guarantee. Not a guarantee, but Wisconsin's normally a school you put in there. That's one of the schools that's in there.
Not since 2017, but yes,
yeah,
to your point.
not,
Exactly.
But obviously, like, they're a team that I always associate with going far in the tournament. That's just how it's always been, at least for me. But it's nowhere near that now. So, Jesse, what's the state of the athletic department at Wisconsin? Where are we at right now?
Glad you asked. Thanks. All right. Hi. Good morning.
How's this going for you so far?
8 minutes. That means we got 2 hours and 52 to go. All right. So I will answer your question in a moment.
Okay.
I was
Please hold.
I was at the sports book with my buddies for March Madness on Friday, and we're having a great day. Like, winning big wagers early in the day. We're up big. The Green Bay women come through covering 22.5 for us. We are just feeling it. Like, everything's going our way. And one of the things we really look forward to every year is when Iowa is in the NCAA tournament, the sports book that we're at, there's a large contingency of Iowa fans who are always there cheering on the Hawkeyes. And we love betting the opposite team of the Hawkeyes, no matter how we feel about the game. Like, they played Richmond a couple of years ago in a 5-12. We bet Richmond, and we were all cheering on Richmond as they upset Iowa in the opening round of the tournament. I think it was St. Mary's got them a couple of years ago. Like, it's just fun betting against Iowa, and they almost always come up short in the first round of the tournament, so we get to revel in that every year. So I guess we were due to kind of get our comeuppance when Clemson, who was a juggernaut taking down a bunch of powerhouses last year in the tournament, and I thought for sure they're going to get by Iowa, and then Clemson would give Florida a game. Silly me, Iowa crushes them, and the first text, the second the game ends, I just get my phone lit up by Bryan Bulaga. And I'm a few beverages in on a Friday night after celebrating a bunch of wins throughout the day. And I just look around and I recall, like, a couple of years ago, we were at the same sports book, same day of March Madness. And Bulaga's texted me because it was like your first time you were coming on as a cousin sub of the day or something. And I told my friends, hang on a second, I can't go to lunch yet. I got to text Bulaga back. And they're like, oh, you're texting Bryan Bulaga? That's pretty cool. Oh, wow, you're so cool. And now I'm just getting a bunch of grief on a Friday night from Bulaga talking about Iowa smack after they beat Clemson, ruining my day. That was so perfect, except for that one day or that one game. So thanks for that. Appreciate that.
Yep.
And then
my pleasure.
And then it happened again on Sunday, and that was even worse as I'm sitting home on the couch trying to sleep off the weekend and watch some of the games that are still going off. And here we are. Bulaga, like, where's Wisconsin? Oh, I don't see Wisconsin in the Sweet 16. Never a doubt. Oh, here comes Iowa. Obnoxious. Also, just like the bowl game, the game was in Tampa. If you were talking so much smack, you're right there. Why didn't you go to either of these games if you felt so good about them, Bulaga?
Because I don't travel up to Tampa to watch any games. Like, I'm not going to watch games. I'm not going to sit in the stadium and watch games. And I'm going back up there, I think, what is it? It's almost April, in May, for WWE. So I'm going back up there here pretty soon to go take the kids to WWE. Backlash.
Get out of here.
It's going to be great. So, like, I don't need to go to Tampa and high bench or high mark, whatever it's called, arena, more than, 3 times in
The thing you're most known for is you introducing yourself on Sunday Night Football saying Bryan Bulaga, Iowa. And now Iowa plays in a bowl game in Tampa, and they play in the NCAA Tournament in Tampa, get 2 wins, including dethroning the reigning national champions in the biggest upset of the tournament. And you won't go to either of those because it was too cold out in January.
It was.
And because you're going to WWE next month, you can't make 2 trips up the road, 45 minutes in the same 30-day stretch.
If you think it was going to take 45 minutes to go anywhere near that arena, you are out of your mind. You're out of your mind. And second of all, that was you look at the crowd that was there. I don't need to be a part of that. That's a Florida-heavy crowd. They were obviously going to be very surly the way that game ended. There's just no need. to be involved in that. There's just I have the best view from my house. The best view is sitting on my couch from my house, having perfect cell service to text you after the game to tell you.
Yeah, Brian,
what happened.
Don't let him do this. He's changing the subject from him being a smack-talking jackwagon to you didn't go to the game, so you weren't supportive enough of the Hawkeyes.
Exactly.
Don't let him change.
It's not like they were in
storyline.
Portland. They were 30 minutes up the road. Make the trip if you feel so good about your squad.
And you still haven't answered the question about the state of Wisconsin athletics.
Because I don't want to. I don't want to answer that question, Bryan Bulaga.
Do you think that the basketball program maybe did Squat Fest too, and it's not helping them as much as it's not helping them as much as one would think? I'm just wondering at this point in time.
10 months later.
I mean, hey, Squat Fest is right around the corner again.
It's coming up. Late June.
It's right around the corner. But no, I mean, listen. I told you last Wednesday. I have no expectations for the team going into the tournament. That's what I said. I have no expectations. So whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I hope they play well, and they've played really well.
And they did.
So that's where I'm at with it. I don't understand.
If somebody else who I like a lot more was in this chair instead of you today, he would say pressure is a privilege. Wisconsin facing pressure into the NCAA tournament is a privilege because they have earned it through the course of the regular season. They were playing outstanding basketball, and even though they came up short against High Point, you can't take away an impressive season with some big-time wins against some of the best teams in the country, as exhibited by the amount of teams that have advanced to the Sweet 16.
So, all right. So let's take a step back here. Our good buddy Rob Vogel, the ombudsman of Wilde and Tausch, says that you should remind Bulaga that Iowa finished 9th in the Big Ten at 10-10 this season. The 19th ranked Badgers were 5th at 14-6 and made the Big Ten tournament semis. Now, here's what I would say to Rob and everyone else, and this is the reality of college basketball, right? And I'm a little disappointed that Jesse didn't get after you in a weak-minded attempt by pointing out that the women's team lost to Virginia yesterday.
I still had that one holstered. Don't worry.
This is the reality, and I said this to Tausch when he was super excited coming back from Chicago from the Big Ten tournament. Whether it's right or not, and certainly the players and the coaches and their families shouldn't look at it this way, but the reality is the rest of the world looks at it this way. What'd you do in the tournament? They don't give a damn about what you did in the Big Ten tournament. No one is talking about, hey, the Badgers went 14-6 during the Big Ten regular season. What a great win over Michigan. What a great win over Illinois. Because this is, for better or for worse, college basketball is all about this tournament. No one ever talks about anything else. And because the Badgers have not made it to the second weekend since 2017, Bryan Bulaga gets to come on here and smack talk the heck out of Jesse, in large part because Jesse brought it on himself. Mm-hmm. There was no initial act of aggression toward Wisconsin or Bradley, for that matter.
Or Bradley.
And you went after him, and he has every right now, after being attacked, to not only defend himself, but now gloat in a huge way. And all of us on our little text chain love the fact that he waited absolutely 0 seconds to text you to rub in the fact that they advanced to the round of 32 and then that they reached the Sweet 16 by upsetting the defending champs and a number 1 seed. And he is well within his rights.
They're probably going to beat Nebraska too, and they're probably going to go to the Elite Eight. So that's just wonderful. Okay.
So here's what I mean, Jason, you hit the nail on the head with Rob saying, well, they went whatever. And Homer said this last night, because obviously my basketball knowledge is not good. Obviously, Homer is the voice of Marquette. He follows it very closely. He's very in tune with it. As he said last night, nobody cares what you did in the tournament, in the conference tournament. Just nobody cares.
It's true.
It doesn't matter. Teams
and
are
that
even
sucks. That sucks, but it's the reality.
Yeah, teams are now even starting to consider resting guys in that tournament to get ready for the NCAA tournament. So that's telling you that the teams are starting to not even care. So to tell me that, they finished this in the tournament and they lost. Okay, yeah, sure, you got me there. Okay, sounds good. Sure, you got me. But guess what? One team went on to beat one of the favorites of the entire tournament in Florida and did it looking pretty good. I get that Florida stormed back because Florida's Florida. They're super impressive. You watch all those guys; they're all 7 foot and move like freak shows. They're all really good. But for the most of that game, you thought Iowa potentially would have won that game by 10 points. That's the way that game was going, and it was kind of what's happening here? That's the way I was watching that game. I was like, this is incredible. I have no I have no expectation that they would be within 10. Let alone winning by 10 at one point in the game. So, okay, this is great. But the tournament is the NCAA tournament. This is the only thing people care about. It's the only thing is where did you finish? And like Jason said, getting past the first week, that's all that people care about. That's the benchmark is getting past the first week and getting into the Sweet 16. And listen, I went into this because we do a little fun family bracket at home. We do. And I had Wisconsin advancing. Well, I had them losing the next round, but I had them beating High Point. I wanted Wisconsin to win. But it is what it is, right? They played that way, that entire game. And Jesse, you and I talked about it too when we were texting. There was at no point in time that Wisconsin was pulling away in that game. They were up, I think, by 8 or 10 at one point, maybe.
Right out of the gates, they were up. And then from that point on, it was pretty tight. Yeah. Yeah.
But High Point stayed in that game the entire time, right? They were shooting threes from God knows where, and they were going in. Wisconsin could just never pull away. Whether that's a luck of the draw or the setup of the team was wrong or the listen, I don't know basketball that well. So, I don't know, but.
Neither does Jesse.
Yeah, but what I do know is Wisconsin should have went on to the round of 32 and they didn't, and that's the way it goes.
The only top 5 seed to lose, and look, I take no joy in that. I was disappointed, no doubt about it, and I would have been fine if Iowa would have lost 2. But now that they have not only won their opening round game, but also have reached the Sweet 16, we get to enjoy watching Jesse, who again brought. I can't emphasize this enough. He brought this on himself. He was the aggressor toward you. He wanted to be Mr. Tough Guy with his 10-year NFL veteran buddy, talking trash to a guy that could stuff him into a trash can. And this is how it's played out for him. So we will sprinkle in more ridicule for Jesse throughout the rest of the program.
It's okay if we don't.
No, we will. No. I think there'll be some other opportunities later in the program. We need to get ready for Evan Cohen to join us from Unsportsmanlike. We need to get Brian's take on Tausch's list from yesterday. We'll do all that and continue to give Jesse grief as we roll on with Bryan Bulaga as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here, and the only thing that makes watching basketball better this time of year is enjoying a great game with the cool, refreshing taste of an ice-cold Coors Light. Whether it's a thrilling buzzer beater, a big upset, or a top seed blowing somebody out, every game goes from good to great when you crack open a Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Coors Light is brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filter, and cold package, so it's actually made to chill. The mountains on Coors Light cold-activated bottles and cans turn blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection, which, besides the refreshing taste, is my favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold and only 102 calories. Coors Light is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hey, it's Riley Yauk. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on social media for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview for the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
At J&K Security Solutions, protecting your home or business is more than just the priority. It's what we do. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. Since 1987, J&K Security Solutions has been committed to providing Madison and southern Wisconsin with dependable security solutions. Whether it's security, fire, or the latest automation solutions, go to jksecurity.com to see how J&K can help keep your home or business secure. Get protected now at jksecurity.com.
Spring is here, and living with your old, drafty, foggy, dirty, hard-to-open, bad windows is no longer an option. You deserve better windows and doors. At Siding Unlimited, we install top-of-the-line wood, vinyl, and fiberglass windows with options to fit your style, color, and design choices. Built for energy efficiency, installed by our professional craftsmen at Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited. Experience, integrity, craftsmanship. Visit sidingunlimited.com today.
Sure, you've got school spirit, but does your jewelry box?
At Chalmers Jewelers, we're proud to be an official retailer of University of Wisconsin jewelry.
Featuring the iconic Motion W, Bucky Badger, and more.
Prices start at just $65.
Whether you're tailgating, jumping around, or shouting on Wisconsin, let your jewelry join the celebration because even Bucky loves a little bling.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app.
This loss is as painful to Packer fans as you can ever imagine.
A customizable homepage, easier and quicker live listening. Your shows at the touch of a fingertip. Available in Apple and Android app stores.
I have no evidence behind that whatsoever. It's just a feeling I have, and that might just be because I'm scared of this rivalry in the playoffs.
Your one-stop shop for ESPN Wisconsin. The brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. Download it today.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Mark Tauscher here. People ask, why did I join UW Credit Union? Well, let's break it down. Convenient local branches, easy to use mobile banking app, rewards checking with early payday, and that beautiful Bucky debit card. Also, they've been serving Wisconsin since 1931, which means they have local expertise that's actually local. So stop by a branch or visit uwcu.org to join today and become a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCAA. Terms and conditions apply.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
So our Tausch's best sports towns list can wait, because I do believe there has been some plentiful reaction to the Bulaga-Nelson Battle Royale in our Carbless Talk and Text line text chain. Carbless, less is more. Jesse, how are you faring among the people?
Well, you're about to find out. So, first one up here. Oh, sorry, I don't Bulaga. Don't try to turn it around, Jesse, says Robin Waukesha. Take your punishment for attacking Iowa. You got humbled. I'm not saying that Bulaga's wrong. And
I'm just trying to divert attention.
You know me, I'm not going to go down without a fight. It is concerning. I don't know if that's the right word I want to use here. It's disappointing to hear the perspective of someone who is familiar with the Big Ten being able to gloat and laugh at Wisconsin not being competitive in the things that matter most in college athletics.
Which is the postseason.
Yeah, so here, let me pull up another one here because this will help with what we're going for. So Douglas in Sun Prairie texts in on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin Talking text line. Didn't I hear that the Wisconsin women's hockey team won the national championship? Which they did on Sunday afternoon. Wisconsin athletics is fine and being carried by these young women. So obviously, 9 NCAA women's hockey national championships for head coach Mark Johnson and that program, nothing to be ashamed of. But Tausch said yesterday, and I think we all agree, the things that you are judged for, the engine of your vehicle that is the athletic department, is football and men's basketball. Mm-hmm. Iowa can be the first to tell you that because they've had a fantastic women's basketball program for several years now. Except for yesterday when they lost to Virginia in the second
good one
tournament.
Yeah, hey, the Badgers, though, they're in the quarterfinals of the WBIT, so take that
still
after
playing
their
in the
10-game
postseason.
losing streak. But to your point, Jesse, and it's a good one, look, I am a girl athlete dad. I have a cross-country runner who also runs track and field. They both play golf. Sydney plays volleyball and soccer. And other than volleyball at Wisconsin, which has now become a revenue generator and has been a very successful program, no, I'm never going to downgrade Badger women's hockey with one of the all-time great, iconic people coaching it, right? I mean, not only is Mark Johnson from the Miracle on Ice, but Mark Johnson's dad, Bob Johnson, is a legend. So I would never demean what they've accomplished, but it doesn't get the same level of attention as football and basketball. It also does not drive the financial engine of the athletic department. So congratulations to them. It's awesome. We love that they are having that success. We love that the volleyball program has a national championship.
Final Four last year.
And I covered all those teams, every single one of them. And I covered them with softball, rowing, everything at the State Journal during my career. And I covered them with the same commitment to do a really good job and tell those stories like I cover the Packers. So I am not in any way demeaning what they have accomplished. But they are not the attention-grabbing, revenue-generating sports. And Bryan Bulaga gets to have bragging rights on those. And again, let's not forget that the part of the problem here is if you take the entirety of their seasons, Wisconsin men's basketball had a better year than Iowa men's basketball. But nobody cares. It's March. What does Tausch always say? Wake me in March. And that's the reality for most fans.
Oh. Brian.
You know, Jesse, I know you don't want him to get after you, but muting Mike is a step too far.
Really, Jesse? You mute me? Really? That's
there was one way for me to win this argument.
That's kind of you. I obviously it's great for the women's I mean, obviously I have a daughter, she plays soccer, and I'm very happy when her teams do well, and obviously I'm a supporter of women's sports. But Jason, you hit the nail on the head. Like, when you judge an athletic department, it's really based on two sports, right? Like, it's based on two sports, and it's this time of year. And for basketball, that's the problem. It's this time of year. At least football, right? They have, if they win 9-10 games, get to a good bowl game, maybe not the playoffs, but get to a good bowl game, and they win that bowl game against a good team, it plays a little bit differently. But for basketball, it's right now. It's literally right now. Like, how do you fare in this part of the season, which is March Madness? And as much as the women's volleyball team at Wisconsin's obviously phenomenal, the women's hockey team seems like they dominate every single year. That's great. But guess who generates the revenue for those programs to have the success that they have? I get the volleyball probably starts generating their own now because of how good they are. Not sure how the numbers stack, obviously.
Right.
But there's two programs that drive the revenue for everybody. right? And if those two programs are struggling, or I mean, I'm not saying Wisconsin basketball is struggling, but if you're getting knocked out in the first round, the revenue's not as high as it was if you were playing this week. I can assure you that. Especially for the football program. Not going to a bowl game in how many years? It's tough.
Yeah, we definitely you don't hear Jesse. Jesse's going to have to wait until the next Badgers win over Iowa in football before he can really say much of anything at this point, and I don't know when that's coming. So we will.
I hope to God that coach gets hired at North Carolina. I can tell you that much. Dude wins everywhere. Get him out of there.
We need to get to Evan Cohen. I do want to ask him if he is the same type of trash talker with his buddies as Jesse was, and what do you do when you end up on the wrong side of it? We will get to him coming up after I tell you about the new season of Behind the Bucks. The Bucks Take on the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, right now on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. You can find that everywhere you find your podcasts, plus on the Bucks.com/plus website, the Bucks app, our ESPN Wisconsin app, and again, wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher. Evan Cohen joins us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen. Keep it right here after Wilde and Tausch, and join us for the Rich Eisen Show on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here for the great team at Everlight Solar. You know what month it is? Well, make sure your March is filled with busting brackets and not busting the bank with your energy bill. Well, I'm here to tell you you can save money and help save the planet with an easy switch to Everlight Solar. Our family is one of many who made the switch to solar over the last several years. But when we first started, we weren't exactly sure what to do. That's when we met with the team at Everlight Solar, and they outlined the entire process and educated us on the benefits of making the switch. It was super simple. Join us in saving a ton of money and creating a greener environment for our family and the community by switching to solar. Learn more. Schedule a free consultation at everlightsolar.com. That's everlightsolar.com.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Make your fitness goals last with Johnson Fitness and Wellness, the largest specialty fitness retailer in the country with 2 locations right here in Madison. At Johnson Fitness and Wellness, you'll find top-rated treadmills, strength equipment, ellipticals, bikes, and more, all guided by certified fitness experts who match the right equipment to your goals, space, and budget. And with white glove delivery and installation, plus flexible financing options, you can build your home gym with confidence. Visit one of their stores today or online at johnsonfitness.com.
For over a century, one family has helped generations move forward. Christofferson Moving and Storage. They've built a legacy of trust, celebrating 120 years in 2026. With transparent, upfront pricing, highly trained professional crews, and flexible services designed around you, they protect your home and belongings with expert care and clear communication every step of the way. Let them handle the heavy lifting so you can focus on what's next. Christofferson Moving and Storage. Your best move since 1906. Get your complimentary quote at christoffersonmoving.com.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2026.
All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
At Associated Bank, we know it's not always fun thinking about saving. You know what is fun? Not thinking about it. That's why we call it automated savings. You save automatically. How much you want, how often you want, for whatever you want. And if you don't know how much to save, well, that's why we're here. We'll suggest an amount so you hit your target without ever thinking about it. See, saving can be fun, especially when it's automatic. At Associated Bank, we get you. That's why we've got you. Learn more at associatedbank.com/yougotthis. Member FDIC.
What's new at Zimbrick Chevrolet? A lot. A free car wash with every service, plus a brand new detail facility to keep your ride looking fresh all year long. Relax with coffee and snacks while you wait, and if you can't, grab one of their numerous service loaners, take the shuttle, or even get a lift on them. Plus, Zimbrick Chevrolet has the largest new Chevrolet inventory in southern Wisconsin, and you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet. Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Evan Cohen on Wilde and Tausch is brought to you by Johnson Fitness and Wellness, the largest specialty fitness retailer in the country. Shop in-store or online at johnsonfitness.com.
We want to get to some other topics with Evan Cohen as well, including the talk about an 18th game in the NFL and the suggestion by some that maybe they could only play, each player could only play 17. Certainly the NCAA Tournament. But first, we need to get him and his opinion on this Jesse Bryan Bulaga Battle Royale from Unsportsmanlike. One of our favorite cast members on the show. It is Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike. Evan, good morning. How are you?
Jason, Brian, Jesse, how are you guys? I cannot believe Bulaga is that guy. I can't believe this.
What
really, guy? The guy that texts the people, the friends, the coworker, the people in your life, as soon as bad things happen to one party and good things happen to the other party, you're a rub-it-in guy?
Well, wait a minute now. You're misrepresenting what happened here.
Yeah, whoa.
Oh, I don't know. I got it from Jesse.
Sounds like an representation to me.
Whoa.
Jesse was the aggressor here.
Here I am enjoying my night, winning a bunch of bets, and all of a sudden I get a text from Bulaga lighting up my phone, ruining the evening.
Okay. Well, so let me go back. Let me go back in time. I don't remember the first time that Brian and I spoke. It was years ago. We had an amazing conversation. We talked about our families, kids, soccer, the White Sox randomly came up, Packers, radio, everything. Home run conversation, okay? No complaints any which way. But that means that, did I read the situation incorrectly? Is Bryan Bulaga the guy that if your team, and if you're a friend of Bryan Bulaga in his life, that if your team performs poorly and his team performs better, he's a rub-it-in guy? Because that's what Jesse is portraying, to me at least.
No.
That Brian's a rub-it-in guy.
It's not even close. It's not even close. And why that is because on Wednesday of last week, I said I am hoping Wisconsin does well. I have Wisconsin winning. I outwardly said I like when Wisconsin does well in the tournament. I pick them normally to go far in the tournament. And then right after that, Jesse told me, well, Iowa's going to get smashed by Clemson. So that's
wait a minute, Jesse. Jesse, you looked at entire part of it.
What?
So that's the way that went.
Strike.
Yes.
No, okay. Brian, I apologize. I stand corrected. That's on me. Now let me address Jesse.
Oh, boy.
Jesse, if someone who's not a fan traditionally of the team you root for says, you know what, I got to tell you something. Kind of into your team this year. They're really likable. The Boyd and Blackwell are great. I heard Greg Gard on Unsportsmanlike. I'm really, you know what, I kind of like what's happening here. I'll be rooting for you guys, just not against my team. you take that and you say, thank you. I appreciate that. That's the right assessment of my squad. You know what? Let's hope we meet down the line, and that's it. You don't then take that and talk trash in return. You set yourself up for the rub it in on Friday nights.
Well, I don't want to be disingenuous. I don't like their coach. Their coach was at Drake when they played my alma mater, Bradley, back-to-back years in the conference title game. They prevented us from getting to the NCAA tournament. Now he's in Iowa. Now he's in the Sweet 16 after beating Florida in admittedly a great coaching job in the second round. He's a good coach. I respect the job he does as a coach, but I don't like him because he wins all these games and he makes my life miserable. I don't like him.
You gotta love the Drake. You gotta love the Drake. You gotta love the Drake in that spot. So I don't understand that, but all right.
Yeah,
Ben McCollum. Get him a Carolina job. Get him out of here.
This had nothing to do with me because, I said at the start on Wednesday, hey, however Iowa does, I have no expectations. I'm just, I'm going to watch them and cheer for them and hope they do well. Jesse goes, you're not have to worry about that. They're going to be done and they're going to be one and done. Okay, well,
yeah, that's
got
not
it.
right.
I did say that.
Right.
I did say that.
That's not right.
So,
you know what? My ruling is in favor of Bulaga. I apologize, Brian. Jason, Jesse is wrong. He brought this upon himself.
Okay. Glad we're all on the same page. Evan, I saw you had Adam Schefter on, as you frequently do, and he's a Michigan man, obviously, so he's very excited about Michigan. What has been the highlight or your favorite parts of the tournament so far? Because obviously our alma mater having a low point against High Point has been a big disappointment.
Yeah, I've been kind of bummed, honestly, around the tournament. It's weird because I'm the guy that says I don't love the Cinderellas past Thursday and Friday of the opening week, and we have no Cinderellas, and yet I'm not as into it as I thought I would be for some reason. I guess there's part of me that still is always living in the past, and even though I was not a Syracuse fan in the moment, I think back to Carmelo Anthony in 2003, and I'm like, can we ever get that young superstar player that actually leads a team all the way? So I'm like, maybe Darren Peterson could be that guy for Kansas, or maybe A.J. DeManstead for BYU, and maybe still Darius Acuff Jr. for Arkansas can be that guy. But I've been kind of, I don't want to say down on the tournament so far. I haven't been as into it as I thought I would be. And I think, Jason, you bring up our school. That's a bummer. I legit thought we had, if you were to say to me before the tournament, where do you normally get a big run from? You would say veteran backcourt, big guys that at least can play a little, and a coach that's been there and done that. I kind of thought we had all those things, and we're done in the first round.
Yeah, a huge disappointment, obviously, and even to Bryan Bulaga, who wanted to see them go further.
How do we feel about that, Jason? In all seriousness, because there's no part of me that has any interest in anyone else being the head coach of the team other than Greg Gard. So I'm not going to make it about that. Based on what I've seen, Blackwell and Boyd are the exact kinds of young men you want leading the Badger program, right? They feel great. But I'm very frustrated in that. What are we doing?
It's the problem of what we were discussing earlier, is that who had the better season if you take the totality of their work? Wisconsin by far over Brian's alma mater. It's not even close. But the problem is that college basketball especially, Brian made a great point earlier, and that is even in college football, if you don't make the playoff, now again, if you're Ohio State, if you're Alabama, if you're Oregon right now, it's different. If you don't make the playoff, it is a disappointment. But for a significant majority of college football teams, if you have a really good year and you make a high-level bowl game, even if kids are opting out, there's a different feeling about your season. Making the NCAA tournament and being a 5 seed, if you don't win, there's no, hey, they had a great year and they were one of the top teams, top 20 team based on seeding. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a damn.
Right.
Because you didn't win the post, and it's starting to stack up on Gardo. It's not starting. It's been stacking up. But 2017 is a long time since you've been to the Sweet 16. And 3 losses now as a 5 seed. We all know when we pick our brackets, you got to pick one 12-5 upset, right? We know those almost always happen. A 6-11 almost always happens. So it just sucks that it's been the Badgers that have been the ones that have been upset seemingly every time they're 5 seed.
So Brian, walk me through the bowl game thing. When you were at Iowa, what bowl games were you in, and did they feel like the season was a big accomplishment, even if they weren't like, a BCS style bowl game?
Yeah, so my freshman year, we didn't get to one. We weren't good enough. And then we turned it around. We went to the Outback Bowl, played South Carolina. And then my junior year, we went to the Orange Bowl and played Georgia Tech. So we went to a BCS bowl game.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So we always looked at it as January 1 bowl games. That was the goal, is January 1 bowl game. So that was always your Capital One, your Outback Bowl, a Citrus Bowl. Those were the games that you always wanted to be in, was the January 1 bowl game, or obviously the BCS games, which happened. I think January 1 was that bowl game too. I can't remember, but the goal was you don't want to be playing before January 1. So those were the big bowl games. Right now, I would look at it, obviously the names have changed of a lot of these bowl games. Obviously it's not the Outback Bowl anymore, which blows my mind. It's called something different that Iowa played in this year, but it is the Outback Bowl. That's the way I look at it.
Not to be confused with the bowl the Badgers didn't play in.
Yes. But I think teams now, kind of like what I said earlier and what Jason said, if you have a good 9-10 win season and you don't get into the playoffs, because obviously not everyone gets in, but you play another good opponent in a bowl game and you're able to win that game, that's a positive light on your season. You're a 10-win team. You finish in the top 25. You beat a good team in the bowl game. Normally it's going to be from the SEC or Big 12 or whatever it may be if you play in those good January 1 bowl games.
But here's the wild thing about what you just did, though, Brian. What you just did, when we're talking about Wisconsin basketball and how we should feel and how it ends, and you're relating it to bowl games, in a roundabout way, and I can't believe we just stumbled on this, we now found the origin of why Barry Alvarez was always okay with the Rose Bowl and not a title. He wasn't worrying about that every year. Because Hayden Fry must have said that over and over and over again in Iowa.
Yeah.
As to why Ferentz thinks about it, as to why Barry thinks about it, as to why that is the goal is January 1st or beyond bowl game, not championship necessarily. You don't phrase it that way. That is Badger football. That is not where we are currently. That is where we think we should be comparatively for Badger basketball, which I think it's safe to say January 1st. So if football for us is January 1st as Badgers, basketball is second weekend.
Yep, I love that. Yep, nailed it.
I don't think it's fair for us to sit here and say we should win the national championship every year because Kaminsky and Decker and Gosser and Showalter and Hayes, nobody else I can remember from those teams, all were inches away. That's the abnormality. The normality for us should be January 1st or beyond bowl, second weekend college basketball NCAA tournament on the men's side.
Yeah. Well, because that's the way I always viewed Wisconsin football. I viewed Wisconsin football as
we are.
Yeah, they were that 10-win team. Maybe you get 11, right? Maybe you do play in a Big Ten championship, or you're competing for that. How it used to be, where it didn't even. It was weird. But that's how I always viewed Wisconsin football. Was
right.
They're gonna be playing in like the Capital One bowl game or whatever. It was always competing for who's going to play in these bowl games, because Iowa and Wisconsin, we thought very similar to how seasons go, right? I mean, you're not Ohio State, you're not Michigan, and now you're not Oregon and these other teams, but you can sure win 10, 11 games. You could win 10, 11 games, and that was always the mindset. So how you put it for Wisconsin because I always think of Wisconsin basketball as and maybe because I'm thinking all the way back to Bo Ryan and how amazing he was, like Sweet 16 is like that's like
the expectation, right?
Yeah,
that's reasonable. I don't think that Greg Gard would disagree with you. I think Greg Gard would tell you right now, I believe we were a second weekend team and we did not perform to that level.
Agreed.
And that doesn't mean he should be fired.
No.
That means expectations are January 1st or beyond football, second weekend basketball. That is, again, I want to point this out over and over again. We have to be honest with ourselves as Badgers and Badgers fans. That should not be the same expectation as Alabama football and basketball, for that matter. That should not be the same expectation for Ohio State football. That would not be acceptable. We, at this moment, are not them. And as we have learned, when we try to be them, meaning when we try to alter expectations, we actually fall shorter than our intended goals previously. And there's a reason Coach Alvarez knew it all along. And we should have all been accepting of he knows better than us. We should not be trying to build a team to win a title. We should be building a team to play in the Rose Bowl, because we are not capable of playing in the Rose Bowl if we build a team to try to win a title. We are not capable of going to the Sweet 16 if we build a team to try to win a title. That's who we are. That's not a bad thing. That's just a realization of what we are as a school right now.
Well, and in fairness to Barry Alvarez and Hayden Fry and Kirk Ferentz for the vast majority of his time at Iowa, it's a different ball game now, right? There is a 12-team playoff. There is NIL in the transfer portal. So I don't know how Barry would attack today's, if he was the coach today as opposed to doing the Jesse Nelson show.
Better. I think he'd be even better. Think about something, Jason. I've said this on your show a million times over. The college coach today needs to do sales in order to coach.
Yeah.
You know how good Barry would be at that?
Great.
Barry Alvarez in his prime, being able to do the sales so he can coach, he would be phenomenal today. Phenomenal.
I don't think he would enjoy having to re-recruit the players that are already on his team, though.
That's different. That's different. What coaches like Barry like to do, and Bulaga could speak towards this obviously a lot better than I could, coaches like Barry that are hard-nosed, disciplined coaches, they don't like to re-recruit. They like to de-recruit. It's, oh, my God, we got Bryan Bulaga. He's amazing. Like, he's going to be awesome. Brian, you're going to be great. You get on campus. Brian, you've done nothing for Iowa. Do you realize Robert Gallery was the second pick in the draft? You think you're close to that? You've done nothing. Go run. Right? That's probably what it is, but it can't be that way now.
Yeah. No, they can't do that now. They can't do anything like that now. I mean, the stuff that you would hear, especially when I was going through, I mean, listen, Kirk would always remind you, you think Robert did that, or you think Steinbach did that, or, those, or Yonda, or guys like that, you think Marshall did that, or... So, yeah, there would always be those little jabs, subtle reminders, and the strength program would do it. Like, well, Gallery was squatting 550 at this point in time, and you're kind of just taking shots all the time. But that's
right.
That's what for kids. That's what's motivating. You want to be at that standard because you saw their success. You do that to kids now, they're in the portal the next week. You just talk bad to them. Mm-hmm. They're out of here.
Yep.
And that's a huge problem.
What team in the state of Wisconsin right now, blindly, relative to their sport, should have the highest expectations every year?
I mean, if you mean in general, like overall.
In general, yeah. So what we just put expectations on the two Badger men's programs that we talk about the most, right? Are the Brewers Brewers World Series, Bucks NBA Finals, Packers Super Bowl? Which team would you say in Wisconsin men's sports? Because obviously, oh wow, I have to be on LA right now. I didn't even realize this. On the women's side, obviously women's hockey and volleyball are the highest. But I'll leave you with that because I got to go to LA, Jason.
Okay, bye. That is Evan Cohen. I thought I really felt good about our time management there, not because a certain someone's not on the show today who gets into it with him from time to time when they're on the radio together. But I really thought we were set up, and then I was going to let him go, and then he had another point he wanted to make, and now he's bumped into his appearance on ESPN LA. That is Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike. Good discussion.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
What question?
About which sports team has the highest expectations going in year after year now?
Yeah.
Because I think it actually was the Bucks until hot potato game against the Miami Heat when Bulaga was announcing draft picks in Detroit. I think that was the last time we had the higher expectations for a team not named the Packers. And now it's probably back to the Packers. It's got to be back to the Packers again, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, I would think so as well. I mean,
is there anybody even close? The Brewers, I guess. But
3 division championships in a row. The Brewers, the Packers don't have that right now.
No, but I guess I always look at it because I don't know what's going on with the Brewers and what offseason moves they made. But don't they continually just dump guys that are really good and don't really replace them, and you don't know what's coming up through the pipeline to replace them? So it's kind of a wait-and-see game with the Brewers, I feel like, a lot of the time, because they're not stacking their roster like the Dodgers. And I'm not saying they need to be like the Dodgers, but don't they let good players go quite often and don't re-sign them?
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. So it's hard to have a certain expectation when some of your best performers are currently and always year to year walking out the door. That's very – I mean, how are you supposed to have a certain expectation for that team when – you don't know what's replacing your highest performer? That's always the tough part about that for the Brewers, I feel like. Because, I mean, I always feel like they come up and surprise people, and they're really good, and you're like, wow, well, where'd that come from? Well, that's because they let their best pitcher go last year, but the guy that they brought in is really good too. But we wouldn't have known that until we saw him pitch. So that's kind of the way I look at the Brewers. Like, sure, they could be great, but you don't know until you know. And that's hard to guess.
Not an issue for the White Sox, though.
No, not a problem. We know. They're going to be bad. We got it. It's how many wins can we get? Can we get 12? Can we get 13? I mean, let's start there. Let's start with like 10 or 13 wins and build.
Let's try to avoid 100 losses. And then if we get below that, then we've got something.
Brewers White Sox opening day on Thursday, and I'm not saying anything about it in this conversation with this guy around.
Probably a good decision.
Yeah, just let that go because they could start the season hot. They could win their first 4 games and not win another game for 4 months. You never know. So just let that one go. I'm picking the Brewers because I have a feeling the Sox are going to be bad again. But I'm picking the Brewers, and I'm a White Sox fan. So, Jesse, right now, let's just start by saying, if you talk smack to me when I'm already picking the Brewers, it's going to go really bad. It's going to go really bad. But that's where I'm at with it.
More with our cousin sub of the day, who is in for Tausch, the great Bryan Bulaga. Cousin subs, we believe in better. More next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Unsportsmanlike's Evan Cohen on Wilde and Tausch is brought to you by Huracan Bank. Founded by inventors and fueled by community, Huracan Bank has been helping Wisconsin businesses grow for 130 years. Now serving Milwaukee, Huracan Bank, doing good for 130 years.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com.
It's a great day for hockey. It's a great day for your 9th national championship.
The dynasty run continues for Wisconsin women's hockey. 9 national titles and defending last season's in style. Head coach Mark Johnson joining Big Ten Network post-victory, how he'll remember this team.
A team that faced a lot of adversity. It was an interesting year with the Olympics and kids coming and going, and our ability to come to the end and really become a unit, play together. And I think the togetherness and the understanding and really the belief in what we were trying to do.
Order today and get 0% interest until 2032 at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Upgrade now, pay no interest until 2032. Visit PellaWI.com.
Homer here from ESPN Wisconsin. Founded by inventors, fueled by community, and focused on business for 130 years, Horicon Bank has helped Wisconsin businesses grow, doing banking differently since 1896. If you're a local business, that same local approach is part of the Milwaukee business community, bringing decisions closer to you. Financing approved in days, not weeks. Bankers who understand your business. Products built for real cash flow needs. When it comes to commercial lending, Horicon Bank gets the job done. Together, doing good for 130 years.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! Bang! It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Hi, it's Eric with Canopy Wealth Management. Taxes are intricate, and even smart savers can unknowingly work against themselves without a clear tax strategy. At Canopy, we help you assess your options and you make more intentional decisions with your money. Small adjustments today can lead to meaningful differences in your long-term financial future. At Canopy Wealth Management, care, competence, clarity is not just a tagline, it's our promise. Get started today at canopy-wealth.com.
Paid for by Canopy Wealth Management. Canopy Wealth Management is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
The Exteriors Company, built for Wisconsin, backed by expertise. From our family to yours, roofing, window, siding, gutters, and doors. Your solution-based company, community strong, and service that will please. Get a free estimate today. The Exteriors Company, built for Wisconsin, backed by expertise.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Thanks again to Evan Cohen. It's a fun debate. I want to get into some Packers stuff with Brian in the 10 o'clock hour. I am a little distracted as my ESPN app with this alert. Quadruple amputee pro cornhole player charged after allegedly fatally shooting passenger in car while driving during argument. I'm not making light of anyone dying.
No. But a lot of layers there.
That is,
yes.
I've never seen anything like that on my phone. So that was a little bit of that threw me a little bit. I need to turn off my notifications during the show. Apparently,
I got that too. And I was reading through that. I was like, I had to read through that a couple times to make sure I was reading that correctly.
So that's
a lot. That's a lot going on. There's a lot going on there.
Hey, did they ever find that guy in your neighborhood?
Yeah, great question, Jesse. Did the FBI ever track down that criminal that was working his way through your neighborhood?
That day you joined us, yeah.
So let me tell you, to my knowledge, no. To my knowledge, no.
He's still on the lam?
Where he fled or where he went or how it happened, I don't know. I will say this, because I don't want to get too much into it, because I know Alana, and obviously I'm not going to.
Okay. Sure. Right. We understand.
But,
give us what you can.
There's still people living in that house. Like, he lived in here, in the community. And there's still people living there actively. But not him, from what I know. So I don't know what's – I can't – I don't know exactly what happened, especially –
Bake him a pie and go over there and see what happens.
with
the front steps.
Hey,
I'll tell you.
I know you lived here for 5 years, but my name's Brian. I got you a blueberry pie here.
I'll say this: when you see the amount of force, literally manpower, that was in the neighborhood, helicopters over the top, you're thinking, "Oh, he must have done something really, really, really bad." Like, I mean, you're talking FBI.
El Chapo.
FBI and ATF agents walking up and down the street. You're like, okay, like something's going on here. It's kind of weird. And then you find out that hasn't been found. It's just unbelievable.
Somewhere in Montana or something. We're glad that you and Abby and the kids are safe. That was, you could tell that was a little unnerving. So we're glad that you guys are safe. But that, go do your best Wilde impression and go do some reporting. Get on that case.
Man. I would love to ask questions to the people that are currently there, because I know no one's moved in there. It's same family. It's got to be. To my knowledge, again, I don't know the whole. Listen,
maybe, but it might just be leave sleeping dogs lie.
I see exactly what we're gonna do here. Coming up this football season,
whatever Jesse's ideas are, we got to be very careful.
During every Packers game, we're gonna do True Crime Halftime with Bryan Bulaga, and he gives us a halftime update during every Packers game, what he's learned in the week about the case in his neighborhood.
I do like the rhyming.
It is. That is good. That is a good rhyme. I will give you that. I just with the current climate, I'm not sure I want to be going and knocking on people's doors, asking about did you get scooped up, and then
no knocking.
knocking.
Sure.
I'm just not sure it's for me right now. I'm not sure that's a good idea.
All right, we'll get to some Packers. I do want to talk a little bit about yesterday at Lambeau Field with Bob Harland's celebration of life and getting to see Coach McCarthy for quite a while. Sat with him for a long time and talked. Got to sit and talk with Ron Wolf. It was a really beautiful day celebrating someone who obviously, and this is not hyperbole, probably saved the Packers as we know them in the modern era. We'll talk about that. Plus, I do want to take advantage of Brian being here for an entire show and use less time discussing Iowa basketball and more time talking Packers football. That's all coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, which will begin after I tell you about Potawatomi Casino Hotel. You know, look, the slot machines, the poker, that's not my thing, right? You know what's my thing is? Entertainment and food. And it's a great getaway at Potawatomi Casino Hotel that you don't have to hop on a plane for or board a cruise ship for. You can feel like you've escaped right there in Milwaukee at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Start with the stay. Biggest hotel rooms in Milwaukee, nearly 500 beautifully designed rooms and luxury suites that are perfect for a weekend reset, a date night, or celebrating something big. And you are just steps away from everything that's happening inside. And you've got all kinds of options when it comes to food, whether it's the premium steaks at Dream Dance Steakhouse, pizza, burritos, and quick bites at the Marketplace, Rock and Brews, which is my favorite. That's where I always get my salmon. Canal Street Cafe, Ruyi Asian Kitchen, the Cream City Coffee Company, all those and more. Sophisticated relaxation, incredible flavor, a full night out all in one place at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. The 10 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. Well, it's bracket season, and Pizza Hut's got the watch parties covered. And right now, get a large 3-topping pizza for just $10. Try it on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust. Crispy and golden outside, soft and fluffy inside, and finished with garlic parm seasoning. Order today at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. A large 3-topping pizza for just $10 on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust. Pizza Hut, feed good times, and remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
This is Wisconsin linebacker Mason Posa.
Mason Posa shuts the door.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. Just 2 days away from the Milwaukee Brewers and Chicago White Sox meeting in American Family Field for opening day. Thursday, 1:10 first pitch. Brewers and White Sox at AmFam Field in Milwaukee. Jacob Mizorowski set to be the opening day starter for the Brewers in 2026. Last night, the Brewers back in Milwaukee playing the first of 2 exhibition games to close out the spring training portion of the season. Brewers 9-1 winners over the Cincinnati Reds last night. They play again this afternoon, 4:10 first pitch. We'll join that game in progress after Jim, Matt, and Molly this afternoon to round out spring training here on Madison's home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. NBA, not so good news for the Bucks. West Coast road trip, they lose 129-196 to the Los Angeles Clippers last night. Cam Thomas, by the way, who was just signed a few weeks ago by the Bucks, released yesterday. Bucks back in action Wednesday night, visiting the Portland Trailblazers, 9 o'clock tip here on Madison's home of the Bucks, 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch with Bryan Bulaga as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. Begins now. And Bryan, obviously Bob Harland's tenure as team president and CEO was over by the time the Packers drafted you in 2010. He was the president from 1989 through 2008, early 2008. Did you have much interaction with him? Did you come across him at all during your time in Green Bay?
I did not. I mean, I obviously heard a lot about everything he did for the Green Bay Packers, right? I mean, I heard a lot about kind of carry it out of the dark ages, so to speak, right? And brought it into prominence, which is obviously an accomplishment for any president of any organization to take something that was really bad and make it really good. So it speaks to who he was. But no, I never got the chance to meet him personally. But everything I heard was just an absolute top guy, and phenomenal person.
Yeah, and so it was really neat to be there yesterday. They did a public event in the atrium where Mike McCarthy was back, and he spoke before heading back on the trail for pro days with the Steelers. Ron Wolf came back from Florida with his wife Edie and spoke for a little while. Ed Policy spoke. Kevin Harlan was the moderator. Obviously, he's the son, one of Bob Harlan's 3 sons, along with Brian and Mike. And their families they hosted an event upstairs afterward that I was fortunate enough to get to go to. And, you know, I have to say, while I love my friend Jamie Glinberg and his amazing kids and his sister, Courtney, who is married to Mike Harlan, as much as I love Ari Gold, it was even better to sit and talk with Ron Wolf for a while and sit and talk with Mike McCarthy. But Mike McCarthy did get put on the spot during the public portion of the ceremony. Kevin Harlan asked him about Aaron Rodgers.
We haven't. Did you see this? Should we play it?
I did see it. I know, and this is courtesy of Rob Domofsky, who filmed it. And I got from our WFRV buddies all the audio and video. I was going to send that to you, Jesse, and then I forgot because I was too busy getting ready to find my Iowa hoodie. But this is how Mike McCarthy answered the Aaron Rodgers question from Bob Harland's son, Kevin, who, of course, is a prominent broadcaster for CBS Sports, and took a red eye from San Diego, where he was doing the first 2 rounds of the NCAA Tournament, to be back for yesterday's event. Here is Kevin Harland's question to Mike McCarthy about Aaron Rodgers.
Wouldn't that be an interesting story if that happened in Pittsburgh?
Yes, it'd be a great story. I don't know. And I would love to tell everybody this breaking news, but it's really cool to see Aaron at 42. To see a young man at 22, and all that he's been all what he's been able to accomplish, and where he's at in his personal life, and in trying to make this decision. So he's in a really good place.
So
that's where I learned how to deflect earlier when Bulaga asked me about Wisconsin athletics.
Yeah, Mike didn't know that he was going to be doing that. So he, I thought he was really good. Obviously, Ron Wolf told some great stories, but again, I assume Aaron Rodgers is enjoying time with his wife, as he said on the Pat McAfee show, and in no hurry to find a place. I was a little, I don't want to say disappointed, because I saw this obviously made a bunch of headlines, and I don't want to spend too much time on it myself. But it was kind of like, we're all here for Bob Harland and celebrating his life, and yet the Aaron Rodgers saga still found a way to make some headlines. Brian, I do want to ask you, because you did play with him and you are good friends with him. I just want to know, are you hoping he plays again or not? Because I think Tausch, if you pinned him down, he said, I kind of like to just see him retire. And I think the concern is that he has one of those years, because he stayed a year too long, where he's getting the crap kicked out of him and they're not winning. And they had decent success last year, but at the same time, the idea of him and Mike together again, I'd be a liar if I said I don't want to see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm a little split on it. I'm like, because obviously how it went with the Jets, you knew he was going to play again, right? Like, it went poorly. They didn't make the playoffs, and you knew he wanted another bite at the apple. But getting that Pittsburgh team to the playoffs and things like that, it ended or at least last season, it ended in a decent fashion for him, right? Like, and he played, I think, for the most part, he played well. If you look at his numbers, they were not bad by any stretch. Like, they weren't bad numbers. So he played well, and obviously you're concerned if he does do one more, how does it go, and things like that. But then at the same time, back with Mike, back with Campy, back with that group again for one more year, I would love to see it, because I just – he's fun to watch. I'll put it that way. Like, he's really fun to watch. I mean, I got to play with him, so I got to be in the moment with him and kind of experience that on field, and obviously it was amazing, and you're in awe of it when you go back and watch the film of the things he did. But now to sit back and watch him and know, like, you know his mannerisms, you know when he's grooving it and he's feeling it and he's locked in, and then you know when he's kind of pissed off, and like, you can see you can see the things on TV because you've been around him for so long and you understand how he operates, and he's such a high level operator that you wouldn't know it unless if you got to spend time with him and be around him and kind of know what makes him tick, right? Like, and to me, that's why he's always fascinating to watch and listen to speak, because, like, he gives you little tidbits, but it's like, can you connect the dots? And if you don't know him well enough, you're not connecting the dots properly, right? Like, and to me, that's that's why I would like to see him back, because I enjoy watching him play and the things that he does, and maybe selfishly it helps me think back to playing, seeing him play, because I had so many good memories, and you know, obviously he's 42 now, Mike said, and
yep.
he can still do great things with the football, right? We can still see he could chuck it 80 yards down the field if he needs to and things like that. But my concern always is the offensive line and how they can protect him. And is he going to take too many shots? And that's always my concern. I guess as an old offensive lineman that blocked for him is like, are the guys in front of him good enough to do it? And that's always my concern, because it's not like I need to be concerned for the guy. He's 42 years old. He makes his own decisions. But
he does.
When it's your job, when it was your job for so long, like you take pride in that. Then you look at another group that has to do it, and you're like, can they do it? And listen, Campy will do his best to get the group that he has to perform at the highest level. But you can only do so much in such little time to prepare. So I'm on the fence with it, but I would like to see him come back with Mike and Campy in that group. I think it'd be a fun story. It'd be fun to watch and see how they do.
Yeah, and look, Inky called me out on the ESPN Madison YouTube comments. Come on, Wildy, we know your thing is a good story. Don't lie to us. Yeah, no, it's true. I want to see him play. Don't make no mistake about it. For the exact reason Brian just said, him and Campy and McCarthy together. Now, the problem that I would have is I don't know how good their offensive line is. The Jets' offensive line was horrendous. The Steelers' offensive line last year was not great. They were a mild improvement. But the dude had to play with a broken left wrist. It is not your job to keep him safe anymore. It is someone else's job. But they need to do as good of a job as you and Bakhtiari and that crew did. I mean, the job that you guys did in 14 down the stretch when he was playing with a torn calf, let's not lose sight of the fact that that's one of the reasons why you should have been in the Super Bowl, is because you guys managed to successfully protect a quarterback who, you know, he moved a little bit in that Dallas playoff game, and then he just threw caution to the wind in Seattle a little bit. But he was borderline statuesque with that calf, and don't. At this age now, if he has those types of injuries and he's not being protected, then it could get, to Tausch's point, pretty ugly. All right, I want to talk a little bit more about yesterday, and then I want to get to football because I don't want to squander the valuable time we have with Brian, and I want to start with the edge rushing situation. The Packers are bringing back Aaron Mosby, and I've had a few fans that are like, "Hey, no, they're fine. They got everything they need," and I'm just not in that group. So I want to talk about that coming up, but a little more about Bob Harland, and then we'll get to Packers football with Bryan Bulaga as our cousin sub of the day. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
It's well known that the boss at the exteriors company is a perfectionist.
It's a gift.
He not only oversees every job, he inspects each aspect of the operation to get to the root of what your project will actually need to be long-lasting.
Call 960-ROOF.
Oh, he's proud of all the reviews.
What can I say? Take a look.
The Exteriors Company, built for Wisconsin, backed by expertise.
Ben Brust here for the Princeton Club. If you're looking for your better tomorrow, you know where to go. It's the Princeton Club. If you're looking to grow, it's also the Princeton Club, because they will cheer for you in all areas of your life. The best way to do that is to start a foundation of having a healthy body, and your growth will start from there. With the cleanest health clubs in Wisconsin, they provide everything for you to reach your goals. Start your better tomorrow today and grow in all areas of your life at the Princeton Club. Join for a better tomorrow.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious with multiple engine options and impressive towing. While Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability. Nice. Making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Friday nights taste better at the Bridges. The Bridges Bar and Restaurant is back with a classic Friday fish fry, plus non-fish specials and prime rib. Great food, great drinks, and a perfect way to kick off the weekend. Fridays at the table and on the course at the Bridges Golf Course in Madison.
Here's the thing. Buying jewelry should feel good. Not rushed, not pressured, and definitely not final if it's not right. That's why at Condon Jewelers you can exchange your purchase so you actually end up with what you really want. And when it comes to value, Condon Jewelers offers some of the best prices in the area without sacrificing quality, service, or trust. So whether you're celebrating a big moment or just treating yourself, you can shop confidently knowing they've got your back. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family. They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
Mark Tauscher here, and your seat at the table just got better at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Return to Hard Rock Casino Rockford's high-limit room, where the odds are in your favor. With enhanced game rules, including blackjack, where the dealer stands on soft 17, you'll enjoy better odds, faster play, and the kind of authentic high-limit action that sets Hard Rock Casino Rockford apart. Visit the high-limit room and rediscover your game on your terms, in your rhythm, and with your edge at Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
We're on the Packers.
It's never been about, beating the Bears or the Vikings. It's about winning a championship.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
There is an intensity deficit, and there won't be now.
Great.
Those days are gone.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN.
Bryan Bulaga is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. Great cousin subs all week, by the way. Except for, I think, Thursday when it's Jesse and me. No offense.
We really loaded up the other 3 days.
We did. We've got all the stars are out, starting with Bryan today. So one last thing on the celebration of Bob Harland's life and legacy yesterday, because I think, and Bryan mentioned, that he never got to meet Bob. It was, we're talking about a presidency for Mark Murphy that was 17 years. And so it was a long time ago that Bob was running the ship. And I think for younger people, like, as I mentioned, my good friend Jamie Glenberg was there with his kids, Ryan and Lauren, and it was great to see Jamie. But Ryan and Lauren reminded me, A, how old I am, because I remember when they were tiny. But B, like, there's a generation that, while I know all these stories, younger people don't. And when you say something like, the Packers might not be in Green Bay without Bob Harland, that's a statement that, if you're young and you've seen all this success, not only do you know how crappy they were before Bob Harland became the president, but you don't necessarily understand how close they were to not surviving if they don't win that referendum to pay for the stadium that Bryan played in. I mean, Bryan was never there for the corrugated green metal old school stadium that they played in when I started covering the team. And so one of the stories that Ron Wolf told yesterday, and this is indicative of why Tausch and I are critical of Mark Murphy for changing the structure, for one, because when, and I don't think a lot of people know this, I've written about it a number of times over the years. Ron Wolf came to Green Bay, I think it was in 1987, to interview for the GM job. With Judge Robert Perrins was the president before Bob Harland. Bob Harland was the second in command. And so Ron Wolf shared this story, and we'll get to a little clip of it in a second. But, like, he got stranded at O'Hare, didn't get into Green Bay until midnight, and Bob Harland was at the airport waiting for him, and they went to eat at Denny's, because that's high, and they do have ice cream, I think. That was high cuisine here in Green Bay, especially at that hour. And Ron Wolf had no interest whatsoever in the job because he wasn't going to have total control of the football system. He wasn't going to be in charge of the coach. He was going to have the team president and the executive committee looking over his shoulder, and he was like, no, forget this. And so Bob took him back to the airport the next day. But when Bob became the president in 1989 and needed a new GM in 1991, he knew that he was going to hire Ron Wolf, and he was going to give him full autonomy over the football program. And so Ron was there yesterday and shared this story. Again, this is courtesy of Rob Domofsky doing his expert video work from the event.
Green Bay was better than a dead mule when I got here. And, I'm talking about, the record, 23 years of losing. They had two playoff teams, one of which was from a strike year, right? So you could throw that out. But anyway, Bob Harland, to take a chance on me and to give me this opportunity, again, as I said, it's a once-in-a-lifetime place, and it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'll never forget. I'm sitting in the airport in O'Hare waiting for the plane to finally take off, and I worked 25 years for Al Davis, who was the owner of the Oakland Raiders, and I called him. It's the only person I ever talked about this other than my wife Edie, about this opportunity. And I told him what I was going to do, and he said, "Bleep, Ron, you're like an owner with what your dad gave me the opportunity to perform."
And again, while they have had success, the 2 Super Bowl titles since Bob Harland became the team president and changed the structure came with the general manager having full autonomy over football, with first Ron Wolf and then Ted Thompson, who of course drafted you in 2010. And whether or not they'll win another Super Bowl with the way things are structured now, again, the old school people like Tom Silverstein and me and others, maybe we're just stuck in the past, man, and we're not open-minded enough to say that this can work. But as of now, they've got the same structure with 3 guys on the same line of demarcation under the team president, and whether or not Ed Policy will someday have a Super Bowl Lombardi trophy to hoist with Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst and Russ Ball, we're still waiting. Brian, I'm curious, again, you played under Mike McCarthy and Ted Thompson. They seemed to work well together, even if there were plenty of times when Mike was frustrated about how young the team was and the inactivity in free agency. Do you ever think about the structure thing, or is that something that doesn't really, as a player, you don't think about it? Post-player, do you pay any attention to this and wonder if it's the right setup, or do you not really give that much thought?
Yeah, when you're playing, it obviously all changed. What was it in 2018?
Correct.
When Mike was fired, and I was still there for one more year.
By the way, fun to see Mike McCarthy and Mark Murphy in the same place, and not anywhere near each other during their time in the same area.
I'm sure. I don't.
Very frustrating.
Yeah, I don't think that bridge has been mended, if I had to take a guess. But I don't know. I don't know for a fact. But there was obviously thought, especially me going into my final year, you never know what's going to happen, obviously. But you don't know what the structure is anymore. And you don't know if it's the GM making the call or the head coach has influence over it. Does the president, you weren't sure what the structure was. Then they announced what it was, and the triangle or whatever it was. I don't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So then once you're there and you're playing, you don't really think much of it once you understand what it is. But then now that you step back and you look at it, it's a little bit odd, in all honesty, right? Like it is a little bit odd just because the way the Packers are set up as being, non-owner. So a non-owner, has the president, which was Mark Murphy, and now is policy and all that. But that they're kind of the head decision makers. Like they're the lead decision makers, and the GM kind of has to take orders from the president, which normally isn't the way things were in Green Bay, right? Like I was just always used to Ted makes the decision. When Ted makes the decision, no one else really has a say in it. That's just what it is. Like if Ted's releasing somebody really good, president doesn't get to say, well, wait, I'm not sure about that. No, it's Ted. That's it.
And maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. Right? Maybe they don't really say anything. Very rarely do they step in. But I think the argument, from my perspective anyway, is that it opens the door for that type of stuff, and that was a problem back in the day.
Yeah, correct. Because the way I guess times have changed. I guess Jerry Jones is the only outlier that he plays owner, GM, evaluator, and everything. Maybe Davis does a little bit. Probably not now with Tom Brady there. Probably not as much so. But most of the time, owners, they hire GMs and trust them to make these decisions. Yeah, well, if the owner loves a player, could they step in and be like, no, we're not releasing him, we're holding on? Yes, they could technically. But that's normally not the way it works. And the GM has full autonomy to just do as he sees fit, right? And that's hiring coaches and that's things like that. That's normally their gig. So when you change the structure and now the president is now hiring the coach and it comes down to this, who gets the blame if things don't work out, right? Mm-hmm. Who is the one to point fingers at? And not saying that Green Bay has a massive issue of finger pointing and who's to blame and this and that, and I mean, because they're a successful NFL franchise. But when things do go a little haywire, who takes the responsibility for roster building and evaluation and big decisions and no one's going to knock the Micah Parsons signing because that trade, whether that was president driven or GM driven, no one's going to knock that because the dude is an absolute stud and we've seen how good he is. To me, it's a no-brainer. But when other decisions get made, who is the one making the call? And that's always the question in my mind. Is it president-driven or is it Goody-driven?
Right.
And that's always, I guess, my question. Right? Like, hey, we're going to go get this guy in free agency. Was it the president saying, hey, we need to go get a guard or we need to go get a D-back or whatever it may be. Now go find him. And then it falls on Goody, who they evaluated to pay that money. That's the only thing that I guess is always a question for me when the structure's this way. When it was the GMs, right? It was Ron Wolf, it was Ted Thompson. If a bad signing happened, it's on them. There's no looking up one more above him to Mark Murphy or at the time Bob Harland to be like, Yeah, it was those guys' issue.
Well,
you got to look at them too.
If only Mark Murphy had intervened in 2020 and said, you got to keep this Bulaga guy for another couple of years. All right, I want to get to some football. It wouldn't have been a bad decision. I do want to get to some football here and talk, starting with the edge rushers, because I am intrigued. I do want to say one last thing. Somebody at the event yesterday said to me, and I thought this was really high praise for Ed Policy, he's got some Bob Harland to him. And if that ends up being the case, I think that's a good thing. Because, again, even though they won Super Bowl 45 with you being the youngest player ever to start a Super Bowl, that was on Mark Murphy's watch, they won it with the GM who then hired the head coach, and they were Bob Harland's picks. And those guys, Ted Thompson and Mike McCarthy, were damn good at their jobs, and unfortunately, they should have had another Super Bowl, but that's another discussion for another day. What we do need to discuss is Friday night. Thanalysis Live, Friday night at the Riverside Theater, and right now, Thanalysis Live, you buy one ticket and we will buy you the other. That's right, Thanalysis Live, one of the biggest nights in Wisconsin sports, and we want to make sure it's a full house. So after all the tickets we sold early, now we're selling them buy one, get one, so we can make sure that the entire place is filled up. So you buy your ticket, and ESPN Wisconsin is going to buy the other. And look, maybe you're not a Ric Flair guy. I was unfamiliar with his catchphrases. Woo! That one I did know. But now, not only is Ric Flair going to be there with Thanasis Antetokounmpo, but Pat Murphy, who I assume Jesse will be conducting that part of the interview, and The Miz are going to be there the day after the opener. That is Friday night at the Riverside Theater. All you got to do is go to taliveshow.com. That is taliveshow.com. And when you're there, you got to enter this code to get the buy one, get one offer. Okay, it's ESPNWI BOGO. So ESPNWI BOGO at checkout. That will get you your free additional ticket to Friday night's Thanalysis Live. There we have it. At the Riverside Theater, taliveshow.com. More with Bryan Bulaga, our cousin sub of the day. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson for Madison School and Community Recreation. Remember last week when I was saying, man, it doesn't feel like summer's coming up, but it is when all that snow was on the ground? Well, look around this week. Temperatures in the 60s, sun shining, people out throwing the ball around. It's opening day on Thursday. That's right. It's time to get your team together. Softball is back for 2026. Registration for Madison School and Community Recreation's Adult Summer Softball Leagues is now open. Men's, women's, and all gender slow pitch leagues, plus women's fast pitch leagues, forming now for the summer season. MSCR softball leagues offer fun for every level of player, and they welcome all participants no matter your skill level. Spend your summer evenings with us out on the ball diamond. For more information and to register right now, go to mscrsportsleagues.org. Again, that's mscrsportsleagues.org.
It's all about the green and gold and nonsense on Kyle, Brust, and Nordman.
I've come to the point where I've accepted that Goody will never turn the Packers into a truly great team. The only way to be like an actual Super Bowl team, for this Goody-led team to show up in the Super Bowl, Jordan Love will have to be the MVP. That's the only way I see it.
Kyle, Brust, and Nordman. Presented by Michelob Ultra, the superior light beer. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
My fiancé wanted to incorporate me in the process of picking out my engagement ring. and we went to Chalmers, and that was the first place that we went to look for rings.
The staff educated us right away, and we felt very comfortable, and I learned a lot about diamonds.
Chalmers did a great job explaining the process to us, the type of grade of the diamond.
Just from the second you walk in, I mean, there's somebody who's taking you over, showing you exactly what you want in your price range.
I think that my ring is the most beautiful ring I've ever seen, thanks to Chalmers Jewelers.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 3/31/2026.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
We're on the Bucks.
They're showing Giannis that we're doing everything possible to keep you happy.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
The Bucks have the power to force Giannis to say, I want out.
Madison's home of the Bucks. 100.5 ESPN.
Bryan Bulaga, our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. All right, Brian, you blocked your share of edge rushers back in the day. I'm not going there. Not doing it. Not doing it because I've seen what's happened to Jesse Nelson. There will be no mention of any specific pass rushers on this program.
I don't recommend it.
So I want to ask you this question now, because I asked it to Tausch late last week, and then I want to talk about what the Packers have at the edge position, okay? When you're a tackle, how does it affect you if they are running a 3-4 versus a 4-3? Because, again, not that we've talked to Jonathan Gannon yet, which was an interesting topic, by the way, among some at yesterday's event at Lambeau Field. There were a few people that were surprised that we hadn't talked to the defensive coordinator yet. But hand in the dirt, standing up, wide stance, whatever it might be, help us understand from your perspective what it's like to face guys coming from a 3-4 scheme. And again, we all understand. Thank you to Matt LaFleur for explaining it to me and making me look like an idiot. We all understand that those guys become defensive ends in the sub package. But what are the subtle challenges and differences for you with a 4-3 base system versus a 3-4 when you're protecting?
Yeah, I mean, I think for one, when you play a 3-down front, so base 3-4, you essentially know it's going to be like you essentially know it's going to be 5v5 most of the time if they're just doing a standard rush. So center's covered, the guards are going to be blocking the 4 techs, which are essentially head up on the tackles, and then the tackles will kick out to the outside linebacker. So it turns into 5v5 for the most part, and then obviously you have the back then to pick up, the linebackers, if there's a pressure, or based on what the protection is, your protection adjustments off of that if the quarterback reads it, and things like that. But where it also, to me, becomes, I always thought it was easier, was a lot of these times these outside linebackers drop into coverage and the 4-tech loops out to the tackles and they become an edge rusher. Then the guard can kick back in and provide support to the center, or they pick up a blitzing linebacker or whatever it may be. So it turns into a 4-man rush or maybe a 5 if they blitz an extra guy, and protection becomes a little bit easy because one tackle's blocking a 4-tech and the 4-techs don't rush like the outside linebackers. Like, let's just call it what it is. Like, someone like I'll try to go back to my rookie year here. As good as Cullen Jenkins was, he didn't rush like Clay.
Right.
Like he didn't rush the passer like Clay, and Cullen was very good as a 4-tech because he had great hands and things like that. But if you were to take a choice of who you wanted to block against, from Cullen looping out and taking his track wider, or Clay ripping off the edge, I'm going to take the looping 4-tech. Where when you have a 4 down front, sorry, were you going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, what about like a guy like Peppers, right, who played in Chicago against you in a 4-3, and then he came to Green Bay for those 3 years, and you guys were a 3-4 base during his time. Like, he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. He's a problem either way.
Yes.
But to those type of players, because that's the thing I'm curious about, like, Iowa guy, Lucas Van Ness, when they drafted him, you were excited about that, right? Like, you saw the potential. But now we're talking about a guy who's gone from a 3-4 as a rookie to 2 years in a 4-3. Now he's going to be back to a 3-4. I'm just wondering the challenges that creates, not just for you blocking them, but also for those guys to be effective, because some of them are more comfortable one way versus the other.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to speak for Julius, but I would imagine he found the adjustment a little bit more difficult, getting used to what his responsibilities were, and maybe he played a little hesitant to start because he was making sure his reads and responsibilities were in check. Right. Outside linebackers, in a base system, outside linebackers meaning the widest guys in the 3-4 system, they have to set the edge. So if they just go ripping upfield and create a monster B gap and it's a run, it creates a big problem for that defense, for the structure of the defense. It's not sound. So while you're normally used to in a 4-down scheme like Julius played in Carolina, like he played in Chicago and things like that, his first step was always react upfield. And it was first 2 steps were pass rushing, and then he would adjust based off of that. Where in the 3-down scheme, it's a little more read. You have to read first and then react, which to me is always a little counterproductive for D linemen, because you want those guys to fire out and you want them to cause issues and then react to it. And to me, obviously, Julius got the hang of it. I mean, he's Julius Peppers. He is really, really damn good. So he eventually he was fine. But you could always tell when he stood up and he was that stand-up outside linebacker, he was always more comfortable than when they went to sub packages and he put his hand down.
Right.
And because that's what he was used to, and he was so explosive. And when you have guys that are that big and they're standing up to rush, so to speak, I'm not saying that it's easier to block them, but they show you a lot more of their body right off the jump. Right? You can read their body language a lot easier than when he's down in a 3-point stance and his shoulder pads are low and he's coming out in his first 3 steps. Because when a man that's 6'7" is down in a 3-point stance and his shoulders are low and he then turns 3 steps into a bull rush, it's very hard to gain leverage on a guy like that. Like, it's very difficult to get your hands on him and then predict, is he spinning? Is he going to fake inside, go outside? Well, when he's already standing up, you can read his shoulders, you can read his body a little bit better and predict what he's going to do. Not saying it's like a perfect science, but it does give the tackle a little bit more of a read of what this guy's going to do. Is his shoulders upfield that he's going to do a speed move? Is he pointing right at you where he's going to power rush you? So there's a little more telltale signs for tackles when you play in that scheme. Now, you look at the guys we have right now, like Micah's going to be a tough read no matter what, because Micah Micah has great leverage to begin with. He reminds me a lot of like the way Harrison would be, right? Like James Harrison with the Steelers was very difficult to read in a 3-4 scheme because he wasn't the tallest guy, but he was powerful as hell. So if you read wrong, he was going to walk you straight back and most likely dump you. Woodley was the same way. So Micah is not going to struggle. I think Micah will be fine regardless because Micah's just that good. And that's how Julius ended up being, because Julius was just that good that they could adapt to anything. It didn't matter what you threw at them. And Clay was the same way. Clay could go up, he could go down. I mean, we're talking about all-time great pass rushers, right? Well, Green Bay has one of those guys who won't be back for I'm not sure how long into the season. The rest are not like Micah Parsons. So how do those guys adapt to this, where they're being asked, hey, first down, you're in a 3-down or in a 3-4 scheme, and now it's second and third down. Now you have to go adjust back to this scheme. That to me is where I have my doubts and concerns with it, because the responsibilities change. Matt's smart, so yes, he say this is a sub league, Jason. They play defensive end. Yes, I got that. That's good. But there are major responsibility changes from one scheme to the next scheme. And to say there isn't, and to say guys aren't thinking about that when calls come in the huddle, it's just not true, because there is a major difference in what guys are being asked to do from one scheme to the next. And if you go into it, hey, this is, because I said it on Homer, with Homer too, you install your base package first in OTAs and training camp. And if that's 3 down, they're focusing on that for the first 2 or 3 days of training camp. Like, it's an important thing. You have to be good at base defense. In must-have-it situations, 3rd and 3, 4th and 2, you're going to be in base personnel. I guarantee it, because it covers you on run, or if you think you want to rush 5 and get after and rush with 5. So you have to be really good at that. And we saw that with our time with Dom, right? Dom did it. Barry did it. Like, guys have done this forever in Green Bay. We've seen a lot of it, and it's, to just say, well, we're going to be in sub a lot. It's a tough one to sell.
Yeah, and that was my, when Goody was asked about it at the scouting combine, his answer was, well, what are they going to run? Well, we're going to run a 4-2-5. Yeah, okay, I get it. I want to get into the personnel they have. You mentioned Micah Parsons, much like Julius Peppers. I mean, he is going to be great in whatever the system is. I am curious whether you think they've got enough, and if they've got the right guys at those edge spots, whatever they're playing, whether they're in a sub package, whether they're in a 3-4, whether Gannon lines them up in a 4-3 at times, whatever it might be. Do you feel good about what they've got? Because Micah Parsons has said himself he understands he probably won't be ready for the opener given the timing of his injury. We'll get into that coming up. More with Bryan Bulaga, our cousin sub of the day. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Badgers.
You just kind of have to appreciate the season for what it was. They got back to the NCAA Tournament. They were a top 5 seed again.
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
I don't know where it goes from here.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhafels. Upgrade your sleep game during Steinhafels Mattress Madness. Get top brands, unbeatable prices, free delivery, and a 120-night sleep guarantee. Only at Steinhafels.
It's a great day for hockey. It's a great day for your 9th national championship.
The dynasty run continues for Wisconsin women's hockey. Head coach Mark Johnson joining Big Ten Network post-victory, how he'll remember this team.
A team that faced a lot of adversity. It was an interesting year with the Olympics and kids coming and going, and our ability to come to the end and really become a unit, play together. And I think the togetherness and the understanding and really the belief in what we were trying to do.
Order today and get 0% interest until 2032 at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Upgrade now, pay no interest until 2032. Visit PellaWI.com.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious. With multiple engine options and impressive towing, while Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability. Nice. Making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
This is our crew.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
And the NL Central champs are back.
Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Left center. Bye-bye baseball.
Brewers opening day is this Thursday, March 26th.
Mizorowski deals. Struck him out. A heater at 101.
Catch the call of opening day right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Wouldn't you love to roll out with a brand new ride this year? Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison could make that happen this March in our Let's Roll promotion. Be here on Friday, March 27th when one grand prize winner will receive a $50,000 vehicle certificate toward a new car or truck. We hit the gas starting at 7 p.m. when 24 other winners will each roll the dice for a cash prize between $500 and $5,000. Keep the good times rolling at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Spring is here, and living with your old, drafty, foggy, dirty, hard-to-open, bad windows is no longer an option. You deserve better windows and doors. At Siding Unlimited, we install top-of-the-line wood, vinyl, and fiberglass windows with options to fit your style, color, and design choices. Built for energy efficiency, installed by our professional craftsmen at Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited. Experience, integrity, craftsmanship. Visit sidingunlimited.com today.
Mark Tauscher here, and you know I love a smart play from the pocket. That's why I joined UW Credit Union. With their mobile banking app, I can make smart plays from anywhere. And with rewards checking perks like early payday, I score my money sooner. Stop by any of their local branches or visit uwcu.org to join and make the smart play by becoming a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCAA. Terms and conditions apply.
Wisconsin legend, Badgers superfan. Frank Kaminsky joins Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on the Yingling Legends Hotline on Wednesday at 2:30. Tune in on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube. Yingling, the oldest brewery in America.
All right, we're a little behind, so if it gets back to Tausch, she's going to say, oh, see, it's not my fault when we're late. But I do want to ask Brian this question before the 11 o'clock hour starts, and that is, we know Micah Parsons is special. We know fellow Iowa alum Lucas Van Ness is going to almost certainly be going into a contract year because he's probably not going to get the fifth-year option. And then it's Brenton Cox, Barron Sorrell, Colin Oliver, Aaron Mosby at outside linebacker or edge rusher, whatever you want to call him. For you, Brian, as someone who wants to see the Packers win, are they thin at that position given how important it is to get pressure on the quarterback?
Short answer is yes. And you can say what you want about Rashawn Gary. That's fine. Well, he's not here anymore, so you can't say anything about him. They lose. Why am I drawing a blank? To the Jets.
Kingsley
Enagbare. He was also very productive. He goes. to the Jets. So now you're left with guys that I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean at all, but just don't have the track record of being able to rely on week in and week out, especially when Micah's not back. So now you're relying on guys that really haven't shown that they can do it consistently when they're put in the starting lineup to do it, right? When they're taking majority of the snaps to get a job done that obviously once Micah left again, it was an issue again, right? When Micah left the lineup, it was a problem. So, yeah, a long answer short is, yeah, I'm concerned about the depth and about the guys that are there. That it's a little concerning. And when you're talking about edge rushers, not just in a 4-down scheme, but also now in a 3-4 scheme, guys that can be disruptive in the run game and set hard edges against tackles and not get moved out of the way. And then that's where he's going to be deployed, whether that's a 4-tech, whether that's outside. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see that. But if you're just talking about the outside backers in general, you need guys that can set edges and set them well. And again,
because it's not just about pass rushing, which I'm probably guilty of focusing on that too much, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to play the Bears, right? And most likely you're going to play base defense against them a lot. And can your edge guys set the edge and bottle everything back into the guys in the middle? And then we move on to the next one. And I get they signed, it was Hargrave, right? Or Hargrave, I believe.
Yes, Javon Hargrave, yep.
Yeah, which he's a great centerpiece to that, but there's still depth that I think needs to be added inside as well. Like, so you're talking about your entire defensive front that I think needs addressed in the draft, and the picks aren't as bountiful as they normally are this year.
Yeah, they have limited options on the roster, and look, those are hard players to find. As you well know, just like playing tackle in the NFL, there's only so many guys that do it at a high level, and usually by March 24th, there aren't, oh my God, we're going to add this great edge rusher or we're going to add this great tackle. The ship has usually sailed by this point in the calendar. So we'll see. We'll see what Jonathan Gannon conjures up, and I can't wait to talk to him about it, if and when that ever happens. I can talk to David Gruber whenever I need, and hopefully I never need to call him because I've been seriously injured in an accident. Hopefully you don't have to call him either. But if you have been injured, you need the best team on your side, and that's Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all. The 11 o'clock hour with Bryan Bulaga, our cousin sub of the day, starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Hey, this is former Badger Brad Norton.
It's a fake. Great call and great execution.
You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, trusted and local experts providing the best quality roof, siding, windows, and doors, expertly installed and at an affordable price. Get your free estimate today at ridgetopexteriors.com. Opening day for the Milwaukee Brewers at American Family Field Thursday afternoon. That's 2 nights away. The Brewers playing host to the Chicago White Sox to open up the new season. 1:10 first pitch Thursday afternoon. Listen to it right here on Madison's home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. No, we don't know what TV channel they're going to be on yet, but they're going to apparently share that on opening day. Meanwhile, exhibition game at American Family Field last night. The Brewers 9-1 winners over the Cincinnati Reds. Those two teams square off in the final exhibition game of the preseason this afternoon. 4:10 first pitch at American Family Field. We're going to join the game in progress after Jim, Matt, and Molly here on Madison's home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. Bucks lost last night, 129-96 against the Los Angeles Clippers. Bucks and Blazers tomorrow night, 9 p.m. tip on 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch. Today it's Wilde and Bulaga. And unlike with Tausch, again, rolls off the tongue. Tausch. We can go Bulaga and Wilde today. We can give Bulaga top billing. Brian Zinner's our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. All right, Brian, I want to give you free reign, which you certainly did not get when you were playing tackle. But, you know, some of those wide receivers and the quarterback got all kinds of free reign to do whatever they wanted. We spent time on the edge rusher situation, which to me is problematic, even though you have one of the best in the business on your team, because we don't know when he's going to be back. But I want to ask you this two-pronged question. Right now, as we sit here today on Tuesday, March 24th, 2026, what aspect of the Green Bay Packers do you feel best about? And what aspect of the Packers concerns you the most? There's still the draft. There's still that kind of second wave of inexpensive free agency. But as you sit there today in your humble abode without the ATF agents and FBI agents coming through the neighborhood, what do you feel best about and what concerns you the most?
So, I mean, I feel best about the quarterback position. I feel good about Jordan Love, and I feel good about our wide receivers. Those are the two spots that I feel really strong about, and obviously I'd throw the tight ends in there, but I don't know when Tucker Kraft will be back either. So that's also hard for me to feel good about that. I mean, I feel good about Tucker Kraft, obviously, just as I feel good about Micah Parsons. Like, those are stud football players. So, yes, I feel good about them. But until they get back, there's questions. But where I'm most concerned about is corner. I'm most concerned about offensive line depth and competition in that group. And then, obviously, what we just spent time talking about, that entire defensive line across the entire board and building depth in that room or rooms, now that it's 3-4 and it's two separate rooms. In those rooms as well. So, like, there's three major positions on this team that I'm concerned about. And, like, they're big rooms. It's not like, I'm concerned about one middle linebacker. It's like, well, that's not really a concern. That's just who's going to step up and play well. Those three spots that I mentioned, like, there are major depth concerns there. And if someone goes down, well, in the corner position, I still think you need another number one or two to go out there to be your starter, to be honest with you.
Right.
Like, that's a big issue. That's a monster issue. And then the other two spots, you're looking at it, or at least I do, if you lose one guy for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who is taking that up and keeping the production not the exact same, but close to where it is? And that's my concern, because we saw it last year when I'm drawing blanks on names. I'm talking so many names right now. Got hurt in Detroit. Broke his ankle or fib or tib in Detroit.
Devontae Wyatt.
When Wyatt got hurt in Detroit, the run game suffered majorly. Playing against the run suffered when he went out. And you're never able – no one was able to replicate his production or even come close to it. So I look at it the same way. If Hargrave or Wyatt or whoever goes down for a week or two or whatever it may be, who steps in? Who steps in and fills that void, especially if Mike is out? So Mike is out, and then say you lose one of these guys, where's the depth and how are you creating the same amount of quality performances that what you had when those guys are in? And without the depth, it's concerning. And same thing with the O-line. It's the exact same story with the offensive line. You lose your center. Say Sean Ryan rolls an ankle. Who's playing center? Who's doing it? And that's where I'm concerned the most.
And look, in fairness to Goody, nobody has like all pros waiting in the wings to fill in if somebody goes down, right? It's hard to create depth for everybody. And look, maybe the Packers are much luckier this season with injuries than they were last year, right? They finished with 17 guys on IR, and not every injury is created equal. But you're talking about Micah Parsons and Tucker Kraft, who, again, this is not throwing shade at Jordan Love, but I think they could have survived with Malik Willis at quarterback better than they could survive with what they had at tight end and what they had at edge rusher without those two guys. You're talking about Zach Tom. We kind of lose sight of that injury, right? And he basically played hurt the whole year. So their offensive line, which I would argue wasn't good enough to begin with, when you have your best offensive lineman hobbled or not in the lineup at all, that's a problem, right? And then they were thin at defensive tackle from the jump. They traded Kenny. And we all love Kenny, right? He's one of your favorite teammates. He's a friend of the show. We like everything he's about. Even if he was getting toward the end, which I think he's going to play another season in Dallas, obviously. But even if you thought, he wasn't the player he used to be, they could have used him. And I understand they wanted to get that contract off the books, and they got Micah Parsons, which is a great trade. Don't get me wrong. But they trade him. You got two young guys from Georgia that are both rookies. Now they've traded Colby Wooden, who apparently doesn't fit what they wanted to do. You're talking about Devontae Wyatt getting hurt. Carl Brooks has had some flash moments, but certainly he's not an impact player at this point in his career. And then those two rookie guys, they're inconsistent because that's what rookie defensive tackles are. And so you got that position. We've talked ad nauseum about where they're at depth-wise on the offensive line. We think we know their starting five, but are you telling me you feel good about what their options are after that? You're not even so sure about the starting five in terms of how good they are together. And then, it's the one we've talked about the least. But to me, you nailed it. Like, I don't even know if they have, for certain, two starting corners. Like, I am partial to Carrington Valentine. I would like for him to use better form tackling if I'm a Packers fan, but I still think he's a good player. As a 7th-round pick, he's not reached the level of a Mark Tauscher 7th-round pick, but he's played good football for them. I know people get frustrated with Keyshawn Nixon, who runs his mouth like Jesse about Iowa, but he is a good player. Is he a number one corner? I think that's a fair debate to have. I don't think he's if you would love for him to be your number 2 corner. I think you're perfectly fine with him being your number 2 corner. But Benjamin St-Juste, who the hell knows what he is, right? Like, I understand he had a good Pro Football Focus grade. He also played 35% of the defensive snaps for the Chargers. So if he was really that good, he would have played more than that. So again, they have Kamal Haddon, but he's coming off of a major injury. But nobody loves Bo Melton more than Bo's family, Wes Hodkiewicz, and me. But I still, beyond for the story, I don't want to see Bo Melton playing corner if I'm a Packers fan. Like, do I want to see him play both positions in the same game? Yes, for the story. But in fairness to Bo, he is not a lifelong corner like his brother. So the idea of him having to potentially play at corner in a playoff game was not unlike you being in Atlanta in 2016 and Gooch playing guard and poor Ladarius Gunter trying to cover Julio Jones. Yeah. So the corner thing, without a first-round pick, we probably haven't talked about enough of how big of a concern that is, Brian.
No, I don't think so. And listen, corner is, you could arguably say it's the second hardest position on the field next to quarterback, right? You'd say quarterback's the hardest to play. Corner, depending on the scheme, is probably the next hardest. And I like Nixon too. I like his. I do. I mean, yeah, there's some things that come with it, with some personal foul penalties and things like that come with it. Some, we'll just say a few lapses in judgment. That's what I'll call it. A few lapses in judgment.
Well said.
Yes. I like him as a player. I think he brings a little extra edge, which I like. But to just rely on him only to be your number one lockdown corner when you read off the names of everyone else, it's a little concerning, to say the least. And again, I'll go back to the campyism. If he breaks a shoelace and they can't find a new shoelace for a whole game, where do you go? Who do you turn to? What does that scheme and system look like? What do the coverages look like? Then all the emphasis goes on to the pass rushers, which we've already talked about is an issue, and they have to get home. And if they don't get home in 2.5 seconds, those guys behind them are exposed. So, yes, that is a major concern right now. And I didn't know that was the snap percentage St-Juste played was 35% of the snaps. That's not it's not a bunch of snaps in a season. We'll just say that. That's not a ton of snaps. So, that has to be addressed, I would say, with your second-round pick. You have to address that position with your second-round pick.
And look, who knows, right? Maybe they strike gold. There's been plenty of times. I mean, you went in there. You were a first-round pick, obviously, so we weren't completely shocked. But you went in there as the youngest guy to ever start a Super Bowl, and you played at a really good level. David Bakhtiari, you tear your ACL, and here's this fourth-round pick who played for a one-win Colorado team. And he plays very solidly as a rookie and then grows into one of the best left tackles in football. Like, there could be guys lurking on their draft board that, as Ron Wolf and Ted Thompson used to always say, there's good players every time you pick. You just have to pick the right one. And if you do your job well, you'll do that. But, I don't know how well they'll do that this year, but they're going to need some guys more than ever to come in and play and help them right away. And from last year's draft class, I think you look at it and you're like, well, how many of those guys had the instant impact? Remember, they only had 8 picks, right? So their draft class, Matthew Golden, Anthony Belton, Savion Williams, Barron Sorrell, Colin Oliver, Warren Johnson, Micah Robinson, who's not with the team, and John Williams, who was on PUP all year. Like, we all think Golden can be way more productive with more opportunities. Belton became a starter late in the year, but he still has growth to show. Sorrell and Oliver, Sorrell flashed for sure. They're excited about Oliver. He did not like the baby Micah moniker, which was awesome, by the way. Have a ton of respect for a guy who pushes back on that immediately. Brinson was okay as a defensive tackle, but he better jump in a big way for them.
Yes.
Because they don't have many other options.
No.
And then I don't know what John Williams is, and neither do they, in terms of an offensive lineman to provide depth. Who knows? He took a medical red shirt as a rookie. So there's a lot of question marks there to be sure. All right, we need to play trivia. Jesse, it is Tuesday, but I assume that it's like Iowa trivia because, you were so on point with your criticism of the great state of Iowa.
It actually is.
Is it really?
Yeah. Bulaga got the win. You're wearing an Iowa shirt. You went to Wisconsin. You're wearing an Iowa shirt. So sure, why not? We did Iowa Trivia Tuesday as opposed to Badgers Trivia Tuesday because one team is playing in the second week of the NCAA tournament, and that team is not Wisconsin.
I love it. Love it. By the way, we sold my Iowa hat on Poshmark, so I had to settle for a
Why did you
mat.
have an Iowa hat? You shouldn't have this stuff, Jason. You went to Wisconsin.
I understand, but I have a soft spot for Iowa. Kirk Ferentz, he's my guy. Ever since he inadvertently butt-dialed me about 10 years ago, he and I have been pals. He loves it when I call him to talk about his Iowa guys in Green Bay. And so, yes. But Madison Muskies. And I went backwards because it needs a little bit of stretching. And it's been a while since I've worn it. All right. The Sweet 16 is where Iowa is. So caller 16 right now, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 16 plays Wilde and Tausch Trivia, Iowa Trivia, presented by Cousin Subs and Iron Jock. Want to remind you, I was on a long call yesterday. We have some questions about Paula's mom and some accounts with Associated Bank. And I talked to Jeff, who was awesome, because that's what Associated Bank does. Great customer service. It's been that way for the entirety of how long they've been around, and they've been around longer than the Green Bay Packers. They were there when the Packers began. So when I say that it's not branches that make a bank local, it's roots, well, those roots are deep, and their customer service is second to none. So go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more about early pay, about credit monitoring, about fraud protection, and, of course, Badgers checking, Packers checking, and Brewers checking. AssociatedBank.com. Trivia's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here, and the only thing that makes watching basketball better this time of year is enjoying a great game with the cool, refreshing taste of an ice-cold Coors Light. Whether it's a thrilling buzzer beater, a big upset, or a top seed blowing somebody out, every game goes from good to great when you crack open a Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Coors Light is brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filter, and cold package, so it's actually made to chill. The mountains on Coors Light cold-activated bottles and cans turn blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection, which, besides the refreshing taste, is my favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold and only 102 calories. Coors Light is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 27 locations in this great state. Headquartered in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paints you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
The Brew Crew are back on March 26th.
Curio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they open up the season against the Chicago White Sox.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh my goodness, third deck.
Brewers opening day is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in March 26th at 1:10 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
If you're looking for something fun to do this spring, come join us Saturday, May 16th for Mark Osiki's 8th annual Casting for Kids Fishing Tournament to benefit the American Family Children's Hospital and UW Carbone Cancer Center. We've raised $1 million for the kids so far. The event is a blast. We fish the Madison chain of lakes before live and silent auctions at the Alliant Energy Center. All kinds of sports memorabilia, guided trips, and a chance to win an Alumacraft fishing boat. So come join us on May 16th. Sign up today at castingforkids.org.
Molly Brown here, and it's time for Slam Dunk Deals at Metro Kia of Madison. Get into a 2026 Kia Sorento or Kia Sportage with 0% APR for 48 months. That's just $20.83 per $1,000 financed. Don't miss your shot. These Slam Dunk Deals end March 31st. Head to Metro Kia of Madison on the east side or visit metrokiaofmadison.com today and drive home your new Kia before the final buzzer.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
God, you gotta love the music, don't you, Brian? It's just, it ain't Famous Friends, but it's quality programming. Time now for Wilde and Tausch Trivia presented by Cousin Subs and Iron Jock.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is brought to you by Iron Jock, performance apparel that actually performs. No stink, just performance, and proudly Wisconsin built. Shop now at ironjock.com. And by Cousin Subs. It's lobster season at Cousin Subs. Their lobster salad sub is fresh, flavorful, and only here for a limited time. Try it today.
It is Cousin Subs and Iron Jock Trivia. Let's welcome in our contestant. It is Travis in Blue Mounds. Travis, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. You?
I'm good. What do you know about Iowa?
Not much.
All right, well, we're going to find out how much you know based on these three questions. Question number one in Iowa Trivia is this. As a perceived means to gain a competitive advantage against opponents, what color did Iowa head football coach Hayden Fry have the visiting locker room at Kinnick Stadium painted in 1979? Was it pink, black, or camouflage?
Pink, I guess.
Pink indeed. Indeed.
Yep.
You ever go in there when you were there?
Oh, yeah.
Did it have any impact on you at all?
Very calming. Very calming.
Oh, nice.
Atmosphere. Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to do. So the legend
pink urinals.
says.
Yeah, pink urinals. Pink everything.
Urinals?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's everything.
Anything to get a cheap advantage, that squad over there. That's what they'll do.
There he goes. There he is again. That's him. That's Jesse Nelson. All right. Travis, question two is this. The aforementioned Kinnick Stadium, home of Iowa Hawkeyes football, has an official listed capacity of 69,250. That capacity is larger than the home football stadium for which of these other Big Ten teams? All right, so which one of these has a smaller capacity than that? Is it Michigan State, Wisconsin, or Illinois?
Illinois.
You know, for a guy who doesn't know much about Iowa, you're 2 for 2. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Purdue's actually bigger than Illinois. Football stadium.
Really?
Yeah. Ross 8 is 1,000 seats bigger, according to Wikipedia.
That's where I go for all my information. All right, chance for a clean sweep here. Travis, question 3. Oh, boy. At which of these schools did Ben McCollum, the Iowa head men's basketball coach and Jesse's close personal friend, not serve as head men's basketball coach prior to his arrival at Iowa this season? So these 3 schools, one of them is not where Ben McCollum had coached. Is it Drake, Northwest Missouri State, or Nebraska Omaha? Omaha!
Omaha.
Indeed, you are correct. You and Peyton Manning. Omaha is the correct answer. 3 for 3 in Iowa trivia.
Perfect weekend play.
Yeah, can't wait to see. I assume Missouri trivia tomorrow for John Anderson.
Yeah, Brewers trivia Thursday.
Even though you haven't offended John Anderson the way you have Brian. Trav, great job, man. Well done. You got 4 entries into Friday's drawing. Thanks for playing, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, that was fun. I always like it when our contestants are on point, and he certainly was. A perfect week thus far. Now Jesse's put the whammy on it, though, of course. All right. Now it's time for Bryan Bulaga's favorite part of the show, where we turn it over to Jesse Nelson for Whoa Nelly. That is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Hold your friends close and your rivals closer on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
To the question about what are we accepting, for all intents and purposes, we should be looking at the Sweet 16 for Badger basketball as our national championship.
Until something changes with how we spend NIL dollars or get NIL dollars, that is our ceiling.
Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Weekdays 4 to 6 on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Hi, it's Eric with Canopy Wealth Management. Taxes are intricate, and even smart savers can unknowingly work against themselves without a clear tax strategy. At Canopy, we help you assess your options and you make more intentional decisions with your money. Small adjustments today can lead to meaningful differences in your long-term financial future. At Canopy Wealth Management, care, competence, clarity is not just a tagline, it's our promise. Get started today at canopy-wealth.com.
Paid for by Canopy Wealth Management. Canopy Wealth Management is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973. They're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and check out their full lineup of vehicles and find the one that's right for you, or browse the vehicle selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2026.
National Player of the Year.
Left hand, and the game's tied.
Kids magical.
Wisconsin legend.
Dump it inside. Dump back in. It's Kaminsky.
Frank Kaminsky joins KBN.
Who was your favorite teammate of all time?
See, it's a baiting question because you want me to say you.
On the Yingling Legends Line.
No, I'm not.
What?
No, it's not. It's not me.
You were annoying to play with.
Yingling, America's oldest brewery. Now available in Wisconsin. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Lofts, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. One call, that's all.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
Brewers baseball is back.
First pitch swinging and a drive to deep left. It's way back and way gone for Brandon Lockridge. First home run of the spring.
You're listening to Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers, 100.5 ESPN.
Without further ado, time for Whoa Nelly.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa Nelly
on Wilde and Tausch.
Football question before we get to the main event that I really want to ask you about here. I was excited to bring this up with Tausch yesterday. Instead, I get Bulaga today, and that's fine. But we'll do that in a second.
Well, he really sold that.
Yeah. Little appetizer here. Joshua Dobbs has been a career backup quarterback in the National Football League. He was released by the New England Patriots, who named
And they can only have one Dobbs on the team at a time.
That's fair. That is fair. They named Tommy DeVito their backup quarterback, or at least that's what the roster is as of now. Yeah, Tommy. Yeah. So, now he's in Boston. So, Joshua Dobbs is available. The Packers are a team that some think could be in the market for a backup quarterback. And we no longer have a Dobbs on the team, so there is room for one more.
Did I steal your joke?
A little bit.
But not really.
Should the Packers consider Joshua Dobbs as a backup quarterback for the 2026?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not sure what he would add at this point. I mean, I don't know much about him, but like, how many quarterbacks do you want in that room to compete for the job? I mean,
I mean, they've had like 4 the last couple of years.
Yeah, look, they there's a reason why they picked up the guys that they did, right? Like,
yeah.
Look, first of all, let's be clear on this. The odds of them striking gold again, the way they did with Malik Willis, are not in their favor, right? Can we just, if we're being honest,
yes.
The odds of that being the case are against them, because that doesn't happen very often, right? Guys don't come into their own after basically flopping at their previous spot. In my opinion, not Malik's fault, because there's plenty of quarterbacks that have been in Tennessee that have had the same thing happen to them. Maybe they want to pick up Will Levis. Maybe he'd be another option for a reclamation project. But they already have the guy, and I'm not saying they won't sign anybody else. I don't know that. And Lord knows we haven't talked to anybody to discuss that sort of thing. But Desmond Ridder is the new reclamation project. Like, he started a bunch of games in Atlanta. Like,
Yeah.
the idea is for him to be the new Malik Willis. Now, that doesn't mean that the job is his by any means, but they also signed Kyle McCord, who was a 5th-round pick, I think, by Philly. Like, maybe he's the guy. I don't know. But one thing I can assure you is that I have a hard time imagining them giving up a draft pick when they don't have enough draft picks as it is to go and try and get another option for their backup quarterback job. And I know Dobbs was released, to Jesse's point, so he's on the street now and available. But, like, you know, all that buzz about Anthony Richardson. If they want a draft pick this year, you don't have it. Like, Corey Linsley was a 5th-round pick, right? Like, you can't afford to be giving up a day 3 pick at this point. You don't have enough picks to begin with. So, again, I don't expect them. I expect them to go with these guys, and then if for some reason they get to the end of camp and they don't like what they've got, then maybe they start exploring some other options.
Yep. That's where I'm at.
Whoa, Nelly!
I used to all this agreement.
Yeah, it's different. All right, so we're out Friday night. We're at the sports book all day. Big winners. We want to stop at a little establishment on the way home to, have a beverage and celebrate. So we walk into a bar. There's, maybe half the bar is taken. And we got a group of 12 guys. So we're kind of hanging out. One corner of the bar is ours. And then the rest of the bar area, about half of it's taken up. And then there's maybe 3 or 4 tables in the rest of the restaurant area that people are sitting at. 10 o'clock on a Friday night. A couple of the games are still on, whatever. A guy, and we believe we learned his fiance, walk in after we've been there for a bit. And they come and they sit down right next to our group, which my friend Dave is at the end of our group. They sit down, and then the guy immediately goes back to go to the bathroom. His fiance, she then starts talking to my buddy Dave, who's sitting on the end of our group.
Would you say Dave is a handsome guy?
He is. Yeah, he's a good-looking fella.
More good-looking than you.
The weirdest thing is he looked very similar to the guy who walked away to go to the bathroom, who walked in with the lady.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Dave, do you continue the conversation with the lady that you just met, who just started talking with you? Or do you look for a way out of that so it doesn't look when the guy's coming back from the bathroom like you're trying to, talk up his lady that he walked in with?
His lady.
How do you handle that situation?
Can I ask one quick follow-up before Brian answers?
I'm sure you had some, yes.
I'm just curious, and again, beauty is only skin deep, but how would you describe the fiancé of the said fellow who went to the bathroom to a police sketch artist?
I would say collectively they were an attractive couple.
Okay.
And let the record show Dave is happily married with child at home, so he's
no one's casting any aspersions on Dave.
He had no interest in doing anything nefarious. It just he didn't want to give the illusion of doing something nefarious, but he felt like he had no choice because he didn't want to be rude to the lady that just started talking to him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's any ill will or ill intent to just have a conversation if she struck up a conversation. I mean, it was going to last only a couple minutes anyway. So, I mean, I see nothing wrong with it by any stretch of the imagination. They sat next to you guys. She starts a conversation. What's he supposed to do? Just turn his back to her? I mean, that's rude. So, I see nothing wrong with Dave. I don't know what Dave decided to do in the end. I don't know what Dave did, but if Dave decided to speak with her, well, whatever. Not a big deal.
Jason?
So one more quick follow-up, and then I know we got to go. Did this become a topic of discussion among the 12 dudes then many of whom are happily married.
In the 2 minutes that the guy had gone to the bathroom and Dave started talking to the lady, some of the rest of us who were on the other end of the group were kind of looking like, oh, I wonder how this is going to end up. And so, yes, it did become a bit of a
but there was no brawl.
Point.
There were no...
The guy ended up being awesome. They became our friends for the rest of the night. They were in town for a wedding, and they were hanging. Like, it was great. It was kind of weird that the guy, like Dave and the other guy, looked almost exactly the same. That was a interesting development, but they ended up being totally fine. Nothing to worry about.
Okay.
But I could see that going poorly in a different situation.
Sure, especially if the fiancé is a possessive kind of hothead type guy, right? Look, I'm with Brian. No malfeasance here, but potentially problematic to be sure. Luckily, Dave's doppelganger was not some sort of a hothead. Hey, what are you talking to my woman for? Kind of guy. Because we all know those guys, too.
That definitely is what we thought might happen when he came walking back out of the bathroom. It had all the makings that would be where this would end up going, and thankfully it did not.
Last quick follow-up. So, Jesse, let's say that said couple comes in, and the male fiance is a dead ringer for you, and she starts talking to you. Do you respond by saying, I'm sorry, I'm happily married, I can't talk to you right now? I don't want your fiancé to come kick my ass? Like, how are you handling it?
Of course
because you were thinking there was some potential problem.
No, you have some exit strategies. You drop your keys on the ground, and you gotta go stumble around and pick the keys up.
Who drops their keys
you just
to get out of the conversation?
I do it all the time. Or you get up and you go talk to somebody on the other end of the group. Say, hey, do you want another one? Should we get another one, or are we closing up soon? Like, you kind of find a way to naturally make it happen where you can kind of avoid that situation until the guy's back, so it doesn't look like you're trying to do anything nefarious.
Okay.
Strategy.
Right.
For as much as Tausch gives me a hard time for being weird, you, on the other hand.
Oops, I dropped my keys. Oops, excuse me. What?
That could backfire too if she's wearing a skirt.
There were times when I was in college, if I had my keys in my pocket, I'd be I'm trying to get out of a situation with somebody I was saying, I'd throw them across the room and be like, oh shoot, I dropped my keys. Can you help me?
You are smooth.
Can you help me go pick those up? That's our way out.
Wow.
Okay. I think we've learned more than we wanted to know. We're going to wrap things up with I dropped my keys. We'll wrap things up with Bryan Bulaga. Next is Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Badgers.
I don't blame Greg Gard for this. I'm just lowering my expectations.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
So I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed in Badger basketball.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. Well, it's bracket season, and Pizza Hut's got the watch parties covered. And right now, get a large 3-topping pizza for just $10. Try it on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust. Crispy and golden outside, soft and fluffy inside, and finished with garlic parm seasoning. Order today at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. A large 3-topping pizza for just $10 on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust. Pizza Hut, feed good times. And remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Bruner Realty, providing excellent real estate and property management services in the Madison area for over 30 years. Contact their team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get housed today.
It's a great day for hockey. It's a great day for your 9th national championship.
The dynasty run continues for Wisconsin women's hockey. Head coach Mark Johnson joining Big Ten Network post-victory. How he'll remember this team?
A team that faced a lot of adversity. It was an interesting year with the Olympics and kids coming and going, and our ability to come to the end and really become a unit, play together. And I think the togetherness and the understanding and really the belief in what we were trying to do.
Order today and get 0% interest until 2032 at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Upgrade now, pay no interest until 2032. Visit PellaWI.com.
Ben Brust here for Zimbrick European. The all-new 2026 Audi Q3 has arrived at Audi-Madison. Lease the all-new 2026 Audi Q3 Quattro for $579 per month for 36 months. Offer is only available until March 31st. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com to browse and see current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi-Madison today, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
This is Coach Greg Gard. I've lived my whole life in Wisconsin, and I know what people here value: hard work, honesty, and looking out for one another. That's exactly how Bank CMG approaches banking. They combine hometown values with modern tools to help people make confident financial decisions. When you want a bank that understands where you're coming from, Bank CMG makes sense. Visit bankcmg.com or stop by your local branch. Let's get to work.
What's up, everybody? March 27th, go get your tickets. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be me, Finance Antetokounmpo, my co-host, Tony C, and Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair. It's going to be nice. It's going to be dope. You guys are going to love it. It's going to be an experience, and we're going to have a lot of fun. It's basically a party/podcast.
Yeah, we're throwing a party at the Riverside, March 27th, TALiveshow.com. Who's the guest again? Can I get a woo? Woo! With Ric Flair. Can't wait.
See you guys.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Spring is here, and living with your old, drafty, foggy, dirty, hard-to-open, bad windows is no longer an option. You deserve better windows and doors. At Siding Unlimited, we install top-of-the-line wood, vinyl, and fiberglass windows with options to fit your style, color, and design choices. Built for energy efficiency, installed by our professional craftsmen at Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited. Experience, integrity, craftsmanship. Visit sidingunlimited.com today.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
All right, we're out of time. Brian gave us 3 hours today, so he will be hitting the links, I'm sure, tomorrow. We will have John Anderson in as our cousin sub of the day tomorrow. Brian, you're the best, man. We're so lucky to have you on our team. We appreciate it when you fill in for old boy, just like you did on the 2010 Super Bowl team. Any parting words before we say farewell?
It was fun. I appreciate the banter as always, Jesse. It's really fun, and go Hawks, right?
If they make the Final Four, I am taking next Wednesday off. I can tell you that much already.
Now we're all rooting for Iowa.
That will be my request, that you need to be there. It'll be I will go to the higher ups at Good Karma and make sure that you are on.
Ooh, I like the sound of this.
Wow.
There we go.
Day.
Going above his head. All right, that's it for us today. Thanks to Bryan Bulaga, thanks to Evan Cohen, and thanks to you for coming along for the ride. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on the ESPN Wisconsin app.